Chapter 380. Here's what happened. White Fox's girlfriend, Shen Jingxian, used to be the son of Songning Martial Guild's vice president Chen Huanling. Xiao En's threw out his most ruthless move. In his opinion, the evidence was irrefutable. Moreover, the person involved in this matter, Vice President Chen Huanling, is also here. Vice President Chen, your son was killed by White Fox. Song Huawu looked at Chen Huanling and asked. That's right. Chen Huanling gritted his teeth. He wanted to kill White Fox anyway, so he had no choice but to support Xiao En's. What evidence do you have? Song Huawu asked. Of course I have evidence. Please take a look, team leader Song. As Chen Huanling spoke, he took out his phone and showed Song Huawu all the video evidence on it. Song Huawu looked at Chen Huanling and said, so you're saying that Chen Jinpeng wasn't the one who raped Shen Jingxian, so he must have been killed by White Fox? What kind of logic is that? There's no one else. Chen Huanling gritted his teeth. He's the biggest suspect, so I asked the Martial Guild's Law Enforcement Hall to investigate him. Investigate him just because he's the biggest suspect? Song Huawu said coldly. Then I think that since you're framing someone else, you can forget about being a vice president. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau will investigate you. You're too selfish and you're abusing your power. I'll have my men take you away later. You. How dare you? Chen Huanling was furious. Because you're a scoundrel and distorting the facts, Song Huawu said indifferently. Team leader Song, isn't that against the rules? Xiao En's was about to explode. He was here to investigate White Fox, so how did he end up investigating Chen Huanling? It wasn't that he couldn't tell that Chen Huanling wanted to rely on him. He had also hinted that he would accept Chen Huanling. However, in the blink of an eye, Chen Huanling had become a prisoner and was about to be investigated. How could this be? How could he still establish his authority? Would he still want others to rely on him in the future? He was a young talent who was about to become the president of the Martial Guild. Is it in line with the rules for you to investigate the White Fox? Song Huawu asked. At least the current evidence points to White Fox, proving that Chen Jinpeng was killed by White Fox, Xiao En said. What evidence? The so-called evidence could only prove that Shen Jingxian was not raped by Chen Jinpeng. Were there any other facts? Why didn't I see it? And there's no sign of a White Fox here. How did you point that out? Song Huawu couldn't help but be amused. Xiao En's, can you be more realistic? If you can't investigate this matter, you can go back. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau doesn't need a law enforcement deacon like you. Team leader Song, I've already said that it's just a suspicion. Currently, he's the biggest suspect. That's undeniable. But do you mean that we have to stop him? Xiao En's expression was a little ugly. It's not an obstruction. Chen Jinpeng wasn't killed by White Fox at all. I've already been investigating this matter and there's already a result. I'm about to take action, but there's a problem in the middle, Song Huawu said. You investigated it? Was there a result? You're about to take action, and then there's a problem? Team leader Song, your excuse is hilarious enough. Why did you say that you're about to take action when I came to ask? And there's still a problem? Dare I ask what the problem is? Do you dare to say it openly in front of everyone? Xiao En's was also anxious. He came this time. If he couldn't find out the reason and left with his tail between his legs, then he would lose face when he returned to the Warrior Guild. So he directly shed all pretense of cordiality. Anyway, the Law Enforcement Hall was managed by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, but the other departments of the Warrior Guild didn't have any direct relationship. At worst, he could just go back and transfer to another department. She wouldn't be able to target him then. But now, he absolutely couldn't back down. Otherwise, how would Chen Huanling, who had just defected, look at him? How would the other competitors of the president of the warrior guild look at him? So even if he had to argue with Song Huawu, he had to get to the bottom of this matter. Of course, it's not a big deal, Song Huawu said. Otherwise, you'll think that I'm just brushing you off. Well, if that's the case, then show me the evidence. Let me see what it is, Xiaofan said. Song Huawu took out her mobile phone, dialed a number, and said to the other side, "Bring me all the investigation information on Chen Jinpeng's death." Not long after, two of Song Huawu's subordinates, who were also members of Team C, came to the office. They were holding a laptop in their hands. In front of everyone, the laptop was turned on, and a surveillance video was played on it. The video showed the entrance of Cailu Street 18, where Chen Jinpeng's Land Rover was. After Chen Jinpeng parked the car, a man got in the car. Then, the car vibrated a few times, and the man got out of the car and quickly left. Everyone knew what this man did. He must have gotten in the car and killed Chen Jinpeng. After that, until Shen Zhenghao and Chen Huanling appeared at the door of the villa, no one got out of Chen Jinpeng's car, nor did anyone get in. In this way, the suspect could only be the person who got in and got out of the car. Li Shanying. Chen Huanling's eyes were about to burst into flames. He did not expect that the real murderer who killed his son was actually Li Shanying. But why? Why did Li Shanying kill Chen Jinpeng? What was the reason? Li Shanying killed Chen Jinpeng? Xiao En's face immediately changed. He never thought that he would find out that Li Shanying was a murderer when he came to investigate the cause of Li Shanying's death. To say that White Fox killed Li Shanying was actually in line with the rules. At the summit, life and death were not counted. If you died, it could only be said that you were not skilled enough. However, killing people in the secular world was against the rules of martial arts. Why did you assassinate Chen Jinpeng for no reason? Yes, so you should have seen it. Originally, after I investigated, I planned to control Li Shanying. However, because of the summit, we suspended the action and planned to do it after the summit. Who would have thought that Li Shanying would die at the summit? This is what I call an accident. Song Huawu said, "Now you understand why I said that it had nothing to do with White Fox, right?" This. Xiao En's was really speechless. He looked at Chen Huanling with some resentment. F***ck your mother. White Fox helped you to avenge Li Shanying's death, so he's your family's benefactor. Yet you jumped out and spouted nonsense. In the end, I was bewitched by you and thought that White Fox was the one who killed Chen Jinpeng. I even helped you to avenge him, but in the end, I got slapped in the face. And it was a slap. He thought that the final trump card was the cause of Chen Jinpeng's death. Who would have thought that it would become a joke? Deacon Xiao, do you have anything else to say? Song Huawu asked. No. Xiao En smiled bitterly. His smile was uglier than crying. He really did not have the face to stay here anymore. He hated Chen Huanling to the core. He looked at him and said angrily, "Chen Huanling, take the blame and resign. I don't want to see you again." Ah, Deacon Xiao, this. I was also kept in the dark. I didn't know before. Chen Huanling was a little confused. Humph. It's fine if you don't resign, but you can solve this matter for me. Xiao En snorted and got up to leave. Now, he could not continue investigating White Fox no matter what unless someone stronger pushed for it or he obtained more absolute evidence. However, for now, he had neither, so he could only leave with his tail between his legs. Chen Huanling was a little sluggish. He looked at Chu Zhengbian and said carefully, "President Chu, let's go back first." Chu Zhengbian also expected better from Chen Huanling. This guy was so disgraceful that even the Songning Martial Guild was disgraceful. Then, Chu Zhengbian looked at Song Huawu and Hong Zhu and said, "Team Leader Song, Miss Hong, we will take our leave first, let's go. This Chen Huanling has evil intentions." I will have someone investigate him. Song Huawu said indifferently. Ah, don't. Chen Huanling staggered and nearly fell to the ground to his death. If he was investigated, he would lose a layer of skin even if he did not die. Although he might not have done anything major, he still sought some benefits for the Chen family. If this was investigated, he would definitely lose his position as vice president. However, Song Huawu did not look at him. Chu Zhengbian pulled Chen Huanling away and left the summit office with his tail between his legs. When these people left the office, Song Huawu also planned to leave. However, she was stopped by Hong Zhu. Song Huawu, wait. I have something to talk to you about. Song Huawu was slightly taken aback. She looked at Hong Zhu. Talk to me? What is it? Speak. Let's find a place with no one around, Hong Zhu said. Elder Wang, don't the two of us still have things to do? Let's go, we have something to do. Elder Su stood up and said in a very sensible manner. Elder Wang nodded. He was naturally aware that Hong Zhu had something to say behind their backs. Therefore, he left together with Elder Su. After they left, Song Huawu said, Can you speak now? Yes, you know Xiao Chen? Hong Zhu suddenly asked. Song Huawu was taken aback. Her expression changed slightly. However, she soon smiled and asked, You know him too, right? Hee, same to you. No wonder, Hong Zhu said with a smile. Yeah, no wonder you didn't oppose me this time, Song Huawu said. If you keep talking about Xiao Chen in the future, I definitely won't oppose you, Hong Zhu said. You like him? You're the one who likes him. Song Huawu glared at Hong Zhu. Yeah, I like him. Otherwise, how could I have made him help me kill Li Shanpao and Li Shanying? Hong Zhu said with a grin. Chapter 381. Shameless. Song Huawu snorted. Demonic witch. Arrogant. Did you ask him to kill him? He did it for his girlfriend, didn't he? I did it too. Hong Zhu looked at Song Huawu with a smile. What, are you jealous? Who's jealous of you? I'm his desk mate, Song Huawu said. Oh. Hong Zhu suddenly realized. Team leader Song, you're playing a school romance game now. And you're saying you don't like it? I'm investigating a case, Song Huawu said. Whatever you say. Hong Zhu looked like he didn't believe her. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Song Huawu was a little speechless. Go. People with a guilty conscience leave quickly, Hong Zhu said. Are you crazy? I won't leave then. Let's see if you'll leave. Song Huawu sat there and didn't move. I won't leave either. Hong Zhu sat opposite Song Huawu, and the two stared at each other. After a while, Song Huawu started playing with her phone. Hong Zhu was bored and started singing, You're my little Hong Zhu. No matter how smart you are, it's never too much, you're my little Huawu. No matter how smart you are, it's never too much. Song Huawu also sang. When they returned to the warrior guild, Qiao En's immediately left. Chu Zhengbian didn't know where Qiao En's went, but he didn't dare to ask. When they returned to the office, Chen Huanling's tears and snot were all over his face. He kept holding on to Chu Zhengbian, hoping that he could come up with some ideas. President Chu, I was just muddle-headed. Now, not only have I offended Song Huawu, but I've also offended Qiao En's. What do you think I should do? Chen Huanling looked at Chu Zheng with tears in his eyes. Aren't you reaping what you sow? Chu Zhengbian was also a little angry. Why did you get involved? Now you're in trouble, aren't you? She didn't care about you at all, and now she wants you to resign. Aren't you asking for trouble? Yesterday, I told you not to provoke the white fox. The truth might not be so. Look, Deacon Xiao is probably thinking that you're an ungrateful person who knew about the situation and deliberately hid it from you. That's right. But I really don't know. Chen Huanling said with a bitter face, President Chu, you know me. I've always been on your side. You can't just ignore me this time. I've done my best to help you, so please help me, help me. The Chen family can't do without me, the vice president. Otherwise, the Chen family will be finished. Sigh. Chu Jingbian felt pity for Chen Huanling when he saw him like this. Chen Huanling was right. Although what he did wasn't very proper, Chen Huanling had always been very obedient. Among the vice presidents of the warrior guild, he was the closest to Chu Jingbian. Thinking of this, Chu Jingbian hesitated for a moment before saying, like I said last time, don't you have an illegitimate son? See if you can let him acknowledge his ancestors. That way, your Chen family won't be without descendants, and your status will be guaranteed, but will they care about me? Chen Huanling's expression was a little painful. If I'm heartlessly rejected, where do you think I'll put my old face? If you don't want to try, then there's nothing I can do. You know, although I'm the president of the Songning Warrior Guild, you're the vice president. I don't have much say in your appointment and dismissal. Now, the pressure from Xiao En's is a small matter. After all, this is only an internal problem of the Warrior Guild. When the time comes, I'll put in a good word for you. I'm afraid there won't be too much of a problem. Chu Jingbian said, but if the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wants to deal with you, you know the consequences. Those people can interfere as long as it's a warrior's matter. Why did you offend Song Huawu for no reason? Sigh. Chen Huanling sighed. I'll think about it and discuss it with my father, all right, but for the time being, before the dust settles, you should rest at home. Don't come to the warrior guild, Chu Jingbian said. This is also a kind of protection for you. I understand. Chen Huanling left the warrior guild dejectedly. Xiao En's was also very sullen. He did not expect to have such a bad start. When he returned to the hotel, he immediately called his father, Xiao Gao. Ens, how is it? Did the investigation come to a conclusion? Xiao Gao's voice was very relaxed. After all, in his opinion, this kind of matter only needed to come to a conclusion and then let White Fox suffer a little. As for killing White Fox, Xiao En's did not have that ability. What the Warrior Guild wanted was a result that could make the Colorful Li family stop. Therefore, this mission seemed difficult, but it was actually very simple. Dad, there's a problem. Xiao En said. He explained the situation and then took the initiative to apologize. I was reckless. Oh? Xiao Gao frowned. He did not expect Hongzhu and Song Huawu to obstruct him. It seemed that things were not going to be easy to handle. After thinking for a while, he said, actually, this matter is not your fault. There are too many problems. I did not expect that Li Shanning to be the murderer of Chen Jinpeng. This is a vicious cycle. How about this, don't be in a hurry to close the case. Write a detailed report and submit it. The Colorful Li family has seen what Li Shanning did, so they will not force you to close the case as soon as possible. After all, they are also in the wrong. You can stay in Songning City for a while. If there is a chance, continue the investigation. If there is no chance, I guess it will be left unsettled. But, if it is left unsettled, will it affect my reputation? When the time comes, people will think that I am incompetent and can't investigate anything. Xiao En's was a little worried. Didn't you say to wait for the opportunity? Xiao Gao said, but don't expect the Warrior Guild to send experts to suppress that White Fox. After all, he is from the Demonic Star sect, not a rogue cultivator. You are going against the Demonic Star sect and the Demonic sect. The best way is to wait for the summit to end, then think of a way to see if there are other breakthroughs. I understand. In this period of time, I will visit the Cheng family first. Xiao En's thought for a while and asked. Yes, but between you and Cheng Menjing, it's okay to play, but forget about it. I've already arranged a marriage for you, Xiao Gao said. Oh? Who is it? Xiao En's was stunned. You will know in the future. Right now, it is still in the midst of negotiations, so it is better for you not to know. Just focus on your work. When Xiao Gao said this, he couldn't help but feel a little proud. The higher-ups might let me take over the position of the Warrior Guild's executive vice president. If I really succeed, then our Qiao family will surpass the colorful Li family. So, after this period of delay, if I successfully take over, not only will there be no problem with your marriage, but the colorful Li family will also not make things difficult for you. They will lay low and bear with Li Shan-ying's matter. Ah. Really? There is news already? Xiao En's was instantly overjoyed. As long as his father could take the position of the Warrior Guild's executive vice president, then as long as he stabilized this position in the future, his strength would rise steadily. At that time, he could definitely fight for the position of vice president or president. Because at that time, his father should be able to be promoted to the position of elder and enter the Elder Council. That would be the ultimate peak of power in the Warrior Guild. Currently, the reason why the colorful Li family was so powerful was because they had an elder who was still in the Elder Council. However, it was said that because he had been injured in his early years, his health was not particularly good. In other words, he would be passing away in a few years, so the colorful Li family would not make things too difficult for the Qiao family. Yes, so ends, you don't have to worry too much. Just do your own things, Xiao Gao said. Alright, I understand. Xiao En's happily hung up the phone. In his heart, he was thinking about how to use this matter to persuade old Master Cheng to let Cheng Menjing become his concubine. Of course, this concubine was a legitimate concubine. In the world of martial artists, ancient martial arts customs were maintained. So, it was very normal to marry a wife and take a concubine. After returning home, Xiaochen did not directly go to the Zheng family's martial arts dojo. Instead, he rested in his room. However, while resting, he received a call from Hongzhu. Hongzhu? Xiaochen picked up the phone. Xiaochen, I have something to tell you. Hongzhu said, just now, someone from the law enforcement hall came to the headquarters of the Warrior Guild. His name is Xiao En's. He is investigating you. What? Xiao En's investigated me? Is he retarded? He is my former classmate. Why would he investigate me? Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. This person clearly knew his background, so why would he investigate him? Did he have amnesia or something? Pfft, he is your classmate. Hongzhu was suddenly stunned. It can't be so coincidental, right? What I mean is that he is investigating your other identity, the White Fox, not Xiao Chen's identity. Oh, if that's the case, then why is he investigating the White Fox? Xiao Chen finally understood. It turned out that he was investigating the White Fox, not him. There are 3 reasons, but the main reason is that you killed Li Shannying. Hongzhu explained the 3 reasons to Xiao Chen, including the fact that Chen Jinpeng was killed by Li Shannying. This surname Chen doesn't know how to thank me for avenging Chen Jinpeng, and even tried to frame me. He deserves to be suspended. After listening, Xiao Chen could not help but say, then, did Xiao En's give up just like that? I don't know, but there is no point in continuing to investigate, unless he sends experts to take coercive measures against you, but it should not be possible. Hongzhu said, he doesn't have the ability or the need to do so. Oh, I was wondering why this person suddenly appeared in Songning City. So, he came because of me. Xiao Chen nodded, a bit of precaution in his heart. Alright, that's all I'm telling you. Song Huawu may call you again in a while. Let me tell you, you should be careful of her. Her background is a bit complicated, so don't get too close to her. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. Hongzhu reminded. Chapter 382. Isn't your background even more complicated? The little princess of the Hong Chamber of Commerce? Xiao Chen said. Which one of you isn't complicated? You know? Did Yi Baiya tell you? Hongzhu was taken aback for a moment before guessing. I'm fine. You can pursue me as you please. I'm single right now. Forget it. I already have a girlfriend, Xiao Chen said. But my fiancé was killed by you. Shouldn't you compensate me a little? Hongzhu suddenly countered with a question. Your fiancé? Who? Xiao Chen was slightly taken aback. What a mess. Your fiancé is Li Shanying? Or Leng Youxiang? He had only killed 2 people recently, and one of them was related to Hongzhu? But Hongzhu didn't seem to care about it. Why would he inform him? Li Shandiao, also known as Li Shanpao, Hongzhu said. Do you remember now? Oh. It's him. Xiao Chen finally remembered. He had heard that Li Shanpao had a very powerful fiancée, but he hadn't met her and thought that it was fine. He didn't expect it to be Hongzhu. His family is so weak. You are the princess of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, why did you marry him? It was decided when the colorful Li family was at its peak. At that time, the leader of the colorful Li family was the president of the Warrior Guild, who is also one of the current elders of the Elders Guild. But he's about to die, Hongzhu said. Besides, the Xiao family is so weak. Why did you get engaged to the Cheng family? There must be some historical reason. Oh. Xiao Chen nodded. He suddenly thought of something. That night, the female assassin was you? It was me. Xiao Chen did not expect Hongzhu to admit to it so straightforwardly. Originally, I was thinking that even if I, Hongzhu, do not like it, my fiancé cannot be casually killed by others. So, I came to you to test things out. And then I found out that I did something good for you. Xiao Chen suddenly realized that he seemed to have become the fiancé killer. Stealing other people's fiancés. Li Shanpao and Li Shanying were like that, and so were Chen Jinkuan and Chen Jinpeng. Good my ass, shouldn't you compensate me a little? Hongzhu said. How are you going to compensate me? I can't compensate you with me, Xiao Chen said. In your dreams. If you marry me, your status in the Hong family's Chamber of Commerce will rise exponentially. If our Hong family works hard, you will be able to become the president of the Warrior Guild. Hongzhu curled his lips. You still haven't reached my standards. Work hard and let me see. Forget it. I'll work hard to help you make money, Xiao Chen said. That's exactly what I mean. If you help me earn some money, we'll be even. Hongzhu said with a nod. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen was about to pack up and head to the Zheng family martial arts dojo when his phone rang again. It was Song Huawu. With a wry smile, Xiao Chen picked up the phone. Song Huawu, what's up? You're not going to tell me about Hongzhu, are you? How did you know? Song Huawu was slightly taken aback, but immediately understood. By the way, your phone has been busy just now. It can't be that she called you, right? Let me tell you, you have to be careful when dealing with her. She's a demoness who eats people without spitting out the bones. Don't rush up to her just because she's pretty. She's scarier than Yi Xiaoya. Xiao Chen didn't know what to say. Why was it that in Song Huawu's eyes, Hongzhu seemed to be a demoness who ate people without spitting out the bones? Previously, Yi Xiaoya had also described Hongzhu in the same way. However, Yi Xiaoya didn't seem to be scary at all. What? I'm saying something nice to you. Listen. Song Huawu said. Do you know Hongzhu's real identity? Her background is very complicated. She's the granddaughter of the Hong family's Chamber of Commerce, and her position in the Devil sect isn't low either. She's a popular candidate for the next Devil sect saintess. Don't provoke her, or you won't even know how you died. Oh. Xiao Chen replied. What's wrong with you? Did you listen to me? Song Huawu asked. I listened. Xiao Chen said. Then what did you say? Song Huawu was a little depressed. Hongzhu said that your background is more complicated and told me to stay away from you. Who should I listen to? Xiao Chen said with a bitter smile. Her. She's lying to you. I don't have any background. I'm just the deputy leader of Team C, Song Huawu said. I don't have a shocking background like her. That's why I'm not going to listen to anyone. That's it. Xiao Chen said. Do whatever you want. However, you have to pay attention to that Xiaoen's. Hongzhu should have already told you, right? I know this person. His father has a high position in the warrior guild. I'm afraid he won't let this go. Song Huawu reminded him. After you attend the summit, disappear for a while. Don't let anyone get hold of you. I understand. Xiao Chen nodded. The warrior guild still cares about this kind of thing? Do they have nothing better to do? It's just that Li Shanying's background is more powerful. In short, it's not a big mistake to be careful. Song Huawu said. Okay, I understand. Xiao Chen responded. However, he was not too worried. At most, the identity of White Fox would remain silent for a while. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen drank the decocted medicinal liquid and trained for a while. After the medicinal effect had taken effect, he bid farewell to the eldest miss and went to the Zheng family dojo. Today was also the last day of the Songning summit. Xiao Chen sat in his previous seat. Yi Xiaoye also arrived at this time. Hey, you went out early in the morning. Why are you only back now? Yi Xiaoye asked. Something came up. How was it today? Did anyone cause trouble for you at the summit? Xiao Chen asked. He was afraid that Leng Youxiang's accomplices would cause trouble for Yi Xiaoye. Not really. Besides, I was in my room the whole day. Who would cause trouble for me? Yi Xiaoye said. You didn't cause trouble again, did you? Not really. It's just that the warrior guild has investigated me for killing Li Shanying yesterday. Xiao Chen said. Why should I? Yi Xiaoye asked back. One of Li Shanying's elders is from the warrior guild headquarters. Anyway, the relationship is a little messy, but it doesn't matter. Xiao Chen shook his head. For the time being, there's nothing to worry about. Song Huawu blocked him. Oh. Yi Xiaoye nodded. After the summit, hide for a while. Appear again when the limelight is over. I think so too. After the summit, I plan to seize the time to practice for a while. Can I find you? Xiao Chen asked. Yi Xiaoye glared at Xiao Chen. Naturally, she knew what he was thinking. But the matter of dual cultivation was also very beneficial to Yi Xiaoye. It was just that it was a little awkward for the two of them to practice together. Especially Yi Xiaoye's mental cultivation method was of the fire attribute. If she practiced the mental cultivation method too fast, it would cause her clothes to spontaneously burn. At that time, Xiao Chen would take advantage of her eyes. But thinking about it, it was not the first time that he saw it, so Yi Xiaoye said, we'll talk about it when the time comes. The competition of the summit began. The rules were the same as yesterday, and the challengers were randomly selected. After several rounds of competition, Yi Xiaoye entered the arena. Her opponent was a warrior of the Tang family of Zhenwu who was at the peak of level 5 internal force strength. He was from the Tang family of Zhenwu, which was the main family of Tang's family. If Yi Xiaoye fought with the martial artist of the Tang family at the peak of the 5th level, the victory would be 50-50. But now, after the dual cultivation with Xiao Chen, Yi Xiaoye had reached the strength of the devil cultivator at the 6th level of internal force. She could easily suppress her opponent. Sure enough, Yi Xiaoye won the final victory. In fact, there was no suspense. After Yi Xiaoye came back, Xiao Chen congratulated her. "Are you praising me or insulting me? I'm not proud of defeating a martial artist at the peak of the 5th level of internal force." Yi Xiaoye smiled helplessly and said, "It's all thanks to my breakthrough. Otherwise, it's hard to say who would be the winner." Xiao Chen nodded. The rules of the competition were not very reasonable. But in the world of martial artists, there was no such thing as fair and reasonable. The next match, challenger number 17, representing the Devil Sect, White Fox, versus challenger number 2, Yu Danding. Whoosh, the audience was in an uproar. They hadn't expected the White Fox to fight again. At this time, everyone remembered that the White Fox's 2 matches yesterday were arranged battles and not randomly drawn by the officials. And now, the White Fox's opponent was the second strongest of the summit, Yu Danding. In the eyes of these people, this battle would definitely be very exciting. After all, the White Fox's skills were so powerful yesterday. Even Li Shanying and Leng Youxiang had died at the hands of the White Fox. Today, it would still be a battle between experts. If White Fox's opponent was a 5th-level inner force martial artist, or if Yu Danding's opponent was a 5th-level inner force martial artist, there would be no meaning in this match because there was no suspense in the outcome. But now, everyone was full of anticipation. Xiao Chen was also a little surprised. He did not expect to face Yu Danding, but he still got up and jumped into the arena. On the other side, Yu Danding also walked into the arena. He was a person who looked similar to Yu Xiaochuan. After he came up, his eyes were fixed on Xiao Chen. A moment later, to everyone's surprise, Yu Danding said, "I admit defeat." Everyone below the ring was stunned, including Xiao Chen himself. He had not expected Yu Danding to admit defeat right away. Furthermore, he had done it so cleanly and decisively. He had not even tested it before spitting out those 3 words. In fact, Yu Danding had his own considerations. Like Li Shanying and Leng Youxiang, he was a person of status. He was the most likely person to become the leader of the martial arts world in the next few decades. The leader of the righteous sects was called the leader of the martial arts world. His status was equivalent to the leader of the devil sect, so Yu Danding would not risk his life. Chapter 383. In the current Jianghu of the secular world, there were 4 publicly recognized top organizations, all of which were targets that all martial artists strive to reach. There were the leaders of the martial arts world of the orthodox sects, the leader of the demonic sects, the president of the warrior guild, and the president of the Hong Chamber of Commerce. Of course, the last one was hereditary, and outsiders had no chance. However, they were recognized as the 4 most powerful people in Wulin. Of course, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was also very powerful, and they even governed all the martial artists in the secular world. However, this organization was an official organization, and they rarely participated in the fights of the martial arts world. They would only take action when one side violated the rules. Therefore, when Li Shanying and Leng Youxiang died at the hands of the White Fox last night, Yu Danding secretly prayed that he would not run into an opponent like the White Fox. However, he did not expect his luck to be so good today. The more he did not want to run into an opponent, the more he ran into one. However, he quickly made a decision, and that was to admit defeat. He could not see through White Fox. Although his strength might be similar to his, at the peak of Stage 8 inner force, it was a fact that he was stronger than Leng Youxiang. Yu Danding knew that he was no match for Leng Youxiang, so he was even less of a match for White Fox. Therefore, he chose to admit defeat cleanly. "Thank you for letting me win." Xiao Chen instantly understood the reason and secretly thanked his luck. Otherwise, even if he could have won, it would not have been easy. After all, his strength was similar to Yu Danding's. If he wanted to win, he would probably have had to use some of the techniques of a cultivator. In this match, challenger number 2, Yu Danding, admitted defeat, so challenger number 17, White Fox, wins. Elder Su announced. He was the happiest. The demonic sects were powerful, and he also felt proud. Based on the current development, the demonic sects were undoubtedly going to win. Xiao Chun raised his hands and accepted the cheers of the victors below the stage. Although this victory had come too easily, on second thought, it was also because he had revealed his strength yesterday that he could win so easily today. Shen Jingxuan's mood was a little complicated. Looking at Xiao Chun on the stage, she knew that Xiao Chun had gradually reached the peak of his life. At least in Songning City, he rarely had opponents. He was no longer the useless Xiao Chun of the past. At that time, he didn't cherish him and didn't like him. Now that he was so dazzling, there must be countless people who liked him. Faintly sighing, Cheng Menjing was a bit confused. Jingxian, why are you unhappy? The White Fox won, and it was so easy. You should be happy. What does my happiness have to do with me? Shen Jingxian said faintly. She didn't know why, but it seemed that the estrangement between her and Xiao Chun was getting worse. Since you have chosen him, don't think too much. I think at least he is much better than Chen Jinkuan and Chen Jinpeng, right? Cheng Menjing smiled and explained, besides, which man is not a playboy? Isn't Xiao Chun the same? He used to pursue you and Kerlin in front of me. What could I do? Didn't I still have to accept it? Now he is very close to Tang Tang, and sometimes he is even with Yi Xiaoya. What can I do? Apart from accepting it, I have to accept it, right? That's true. Shen Jingxian was annoyed with Xiao Chun. Wasn't the example that Cheng Menjing used to refer to the White Fox himself? However, Shen Jingxuan's mood was a lot better. At least, the first person that Xiao Chun liked might be her. By the way, why is the White Fox wearing different clothes than he did at noon? Wasn't he wearing a white coat before? Cheng Menjing was a little puzzled. Who knows? It's hot, so he took it off. Shen Jingxian naturally knew that the white coat was bought by Xiao Chun at noon to prevent others from seeing what he was really wearing, so he put it on at the last minute. He must have taken it off and thrown it away afterward. It would be strange if he still had it now. Oh. Cheng Menjing nodded. Handsome, so handsome. Yu Shaochuan was cheering for the White Fox. Are you crazy? Yu Danding is your cousin, and you are cheering for the White Fox? Tang Tang was a little puzzled by Yu Shaochuan's behavior. In her opinion, Yu Shaochuan seemed to have a little problem with his brain. Perhaps he was stimulated, so he always did things that were different from ordinary people. Zhu Yingxiong was also a little puzzled. Why did Yu Shaochuan admire Xiao Chun so much? But this was good. He heard that his boss liked Tang Tang. If Yu Shaochuan worshipped the White Fox, it would be a good thing for him to give his woman to the White Fox. So Zhu Yingxiong said, Big Brother is right. The White Fox is really handsome. Big Brother, you have to keep an eye on sister-in-law. Don't let her fall in love with the White Fox and abandon you. Huh, if that's the case, I have no regrets. Yu Shaochuan laughed. Tang Tang frowned. What did Yu Shaochuan mean? He had been trying to get information from her in the past 2 days. It seemed that he wanted her to have a relationship with the White Fox. Why was he so disgusting? Could it be that in order to please the White Fox, he had sacrificed himself? Tang Tang couldn't imagine it. She didn't think that Yu Shaochuan was such a pervert before, but now the more she looked at him, the more she thought it was possible. On the other side, Lu Zhiming was also a little excited. He said to Zheng Xiaokuan, the White Fox is so awesome that his opponent directly admitted defeat? Although it's pretty awesome, it also reduces the number of fights. By the way, what's the strength of that Yu Danding? Why is he so weak that he directly admitted defeat? The peak of Stage 8 Inner Force. Zheng Xiaokuan rolled his eyes. This was strength that he didn't even dare to think about before, but now he could only admit defeat. What? The peak of Stage 8 Inner Force? Lu Zhenming was a little dumbfounded. Then why did he admit defeat? Yesterday, the White Fox killed a demonic cultivator at the peak of Stage 8 Inner Force. What do you think? Zheng Xiaokuan rolled his eyes and said, I know what you're thinking, but you'd better save it for a nobody like you. The White Fox may not be in the mood to deal with you. Ha! I have to try. Lu Zhenming hesitated for a moment. This was an opportunity for the Lu family, and he naturally wouldn't give it up easily. Do you think the White Fox will drive me away if I go there now? I don't know. If you want to try, then go ahead. Zheng Xiaokuan said that, but whether the White Fox would hate Lu Zhenming or not, that had little to do with him. Shen Zhenghao was still sitting with LV Fangzhen today, but on the other side of LV Fangzhen sat the president of the Songning Warrior Guild, Chu Zhengbian. LV Fangzhen already knew about what happened yesterday and today, and Shen Zhenghao also knew about it. Shen Zhenghao's feelings were a little complicated. He did not expect that the White Fox would provoke the Warrior Guild even though she had made a name for herself. This was something that Shen Zhenghao did not want to see. He was a little hesitant now. He did not know if Xiao Ens would continue to take coercive measures after he returned. After all, if he took extreme measures, he was also afraid that the Shen family would be implicated. Chen Huanling, that bastard, added oil to the fire and embroiled the Shen family in it. How could this guy be so shameless? However, he was also unwilling to draw a line between Shen Jingxian and the White Fox. Risk and reward coexisted, and he could see that the White Fox had potential. Old LV, President Chu, will the White Fox be in danger? If the matter is really settled by the Warrior Guild, will they take coercive measures against him, such as capturing him back? Shen Zhenghao asked worriedly. That won't happen. As long as he doesn't violate some specific rules, such as attacking ordinary people in the secular world for no reason, using force to commit crimes, and so on, the Warrior Guild won't interfere with other matters. For such controversial matters, unless the White Fox's sect agrees, they won't dare to touch the people of the Demonic Star sect, President Chu explained. President Chu was a neutral person. Although he was promoted by Xiao En's father, he wouldn't offend others for the sake of Qiao Gao, especially a person with a strong background like the White Fox. Today, he vaguely felt that there was a deeper meaning behind LV Fangzhen asking him to sit beside him. It was also a warning. Given LV Fangzhen's status, it was abnormal for him to sit with Shen Zhenghao. All of this showed that LV Fangzhen and the White Fox knew each other and supported the White Fox. This way, no matter how stupid Chu Zhengbian was, he would know that he wouldn't be too involved in the White Fox's matters. I see. That's a relief. Shen Zhenghao heaved a sigh of relief. In his opinion, the Demonic Star sect would never give up on an outstanding disciple like the White Fox because of such a small matter, unless there was something wrong with the Demonic Star sect. President Chu, are you free later? How about the three of us have a meal together tonight? That's not a problem for me, but it depends on old man Lu's schedule. Chu Zhengbian didn't dare to be careless in front of LV Fangzhen. LV Fangzhen was a person of great status, while he was just a junior. Sure, let's have a simple meal then. LV Fangzhen nodded. He had always been supporting the White Fox. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to a meal just because someone invited him. Shen Zhenghao was overjoyed. He had never thought that one day he would have a meal with the two big shots, Chu Zhengbian and LV Fangzhen. Otherwise, he wouldn't have married into the Chen family. Wasn't it because of Chen Huanling's position as the vice president? Now, LV Fangzhen, who was even more powerful, could eat at the same table. Even if LV Fangzhen didn't directly help him, he could still brag about this matter. Lu Zhenming waited for the White Fox to leave the arena before he tiptoed over to the White Fox and Yi Xiaoya's seats. White Fox hero, "Oh, Lu Zhenming. What's the matter?" Xiaochen glanced at Lu Zhenming and asked. Chapter 384. Ah. White Fox Hero, do you know me? You even know my name? Lu Zhenming was surprised, and suddenly he was happy. What's going on? White Fox Hero actually knows me. Oh, I heard Jingxian talk about you. Xiaochen said faintly, do you have something to say? Yes, yes. Lu Zhenming said quickly, that, I don't know if White Fox Hero is accepting a younger brother. What do you think of me? Pfft. Xiaochen didn't expect Lu Zhenming to be so shameless and straightforward. Was there a need to say it directly if he wanted to be someone's younger brother? Ugh, haha, I'm a straightforward person. White Fox Hero, please don't misunderstand. I really want to be your younger brother because I admire you so much. I think you are my idol. Lu Zhenming said in a disgusting manner. Oh, but I heard that you seem to have a boss in school, named Xiaochen. Xiaochen asked. Hey. Lu Zhenming was shocked. This White Fox Hero seems to know everything. He actually knows about my school. But thinking about it, White Fox Hero was Shen Jingxuan's boyfriend. Shen Jingxian and Cheng Menjing were like one person. Shen Jingxian would naturally mention Cheng Menjing's ex-fiancée, Xiaochen. Therefore, it wasn't surprising that White Fox Hero knew about these things. But he still quickly denied it. That was actually just a joke. It's fake. How can I casually recognize a boss? After all, I'm also a member of the Songning Lu family. Only a heroic person like White Fox Hero can be my boss. Oh, Xiaochen is my little brother. Originally, I thought you were his little brother. In that case, you're barely my little brother. Since it's just a joke, don't be an eyesore here. Hurry up and scram, Xiaochen said with a sneer. Quack. Lu Zhenming was shocked again. What? Xiaochen is Hero White Fox's little brother? When did that happen? F***ck, I misunderstood, so I hurriedly said, no, what I mean is, Xiaochen is indeed my boss, but he seems to think that it's just a joke, so he doesn't take it seriously, but I am serious. Oh. Xiaochen nodded. I see. Then, do I count as your little brother now? Lu Zhenming waited for a long time, but he didn't see Xiaochen say anything. He just said that he understood. What did that mean? He was a little annoyed at himself for talking too much. Since the White Fox swordsman had already investigated, why didn't he tell the truth? He was now in a very passive position. Follow Xiaochen for a period of time. I'll see how you perform. If you perform well, I'll take you in, Xiaochen said calmly. Okay. Then I'll go back now. Boss White Fox, I'll leave first. Lu Zhenming was very excited. It seemed that White Fox had finally relented, which meant that he still had hope. After Lu Zhenming left, Yi Xiaoye was a little puzzled. You know Xiaochen? Yes, you know him too? Xiaochen asked calmly. He lives with me in a villa. As Yi Xiaoye said this, she suddenly thought of something. Oh, yes, since that person taught you the dark flame palm, then it's not too strange that you know Xiaochen. Xiaochen didn't understand what Yi Xiaoye was talking about, but he didn't want to ask in detail. He was afraid that the fact that he was Xiaochen would be exposed, so he could only reply, that's good. When the time comes, I'll find you for dual cultivation and ask him to help. Don't. Yi Xiaoye was shocked. It's better not to let him know. What's wrong? Xiaochen couldn't help but be stunned. Nothing. Yi Xiaoye shook her head as if she was somewhat conflicted. What's going on? You seem to be hiding something from me? Xiaochen asked curiously. Everyone has a little secret. Don't ask. Yi Xiaoye hesitated and said, White Fox, it's impossible for anything to happen between you and me, so don't have any illusions about me. If we cultivate together, then we cultivate together. Whatever you see, you have to forget it. Do you understand? Otherwise, it's not good for you and me. That's how it is. Xiao Chen nodded. And I also have a girlfriend, so it's all misunderstood, whether it's a misunderstanding or not, that's your business. I don't care, but you have to remember what I said to you. Yi Xiaoye reminded. Okay. Xiao Chen agreed readily. At the Righteous and Demonic Songning Summit, the normal challenge competition had ended. Next was the challenge segment. As the saying goes, take revenge if you have a grudge. Everyone had the chance to challenge others. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye were both sitting in the challenge area. Xiao Chen had already challenged others yesterday, but Yi Xiaoye didn't have anyone to challenge. In fact, there were very few people who actually challenged others. Only a few of them went on stage in succession. These people's strength was about the same. Perhaps there were some small conflicts before, but very soon, no one challenged again. In fact, these contestants who came to participate in the challenge rarely had any deep hatred. The people who had deep hatred were their elders. Many of them didn't know each other, so there was no need to challenge them. This time, the Songning Righteous and Demonic Summit was very successful. No one challenged again, and Elder Wang came out to preside over the closing work of the summit. However, I hope that after the summit ends, everyone will put aside their personal grievances in the competition. This is jointly supervised by the Hong Chamber of Commerce and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. I don't want anyone to violate it. Because at the end of the summit, I gave you a chance to challenge each other. If you didn't, then you can't challenge each other privately afterwards. In fact, what Elder Wang said was basically nonsense. For example, Li Shanning and Leng Youxiang, who were killed by Xiao Chen, were dead. How could they challenge each other? In other words, those who were not as strong as others would lose no matter how they challenged them. If they had to add points, who would dare to challenge them? After the event, they would find a stronger fellow sect member to take revenge. Only then would they have a chance to take down the other party. It was impossible to take revenge directly at the summit. Perhaps some people think that you are not strong enough and want to find someone to take revenge. That's fine too. We'll settle it at the next summit. Elder Wang is right. I don't want anyone to break the rules after the summit ends. Elder Su also said, okay, now let's invite the two judges to announce the score of the competition. Song Huawu slowly said, the righteous sects have a total score of 450 points in this competition. The Devil Sect Alliance has a total score of 510 points in this competition. Hongzhu also said, according to the scores of both parties, the Devil Sect Alliance is the winner this time. Cheers instantly came from below the stage. These people were all devil cultivators. Since the beginning of the Righteous Devil Summit, the Devil Sect Alliance had always been at a disadvantage and rarely won. No one expected them to achieve a complete victory today. How could they not cheer? In fact, those who paid attention could also see that in this competition, White Fox alone had obtained the most individual points, a whopping 40 points. Li Shanning, Yu Danding, Junior Brother Ma, Senior Brother Chu, these 40 points were the 40 points that turned the tables. If the Devil Sect Alliance did not have these 40 points, and the Righteous Sects had these 40 points, the outcome would be different. At that time, the Righteous Sects would have 490 points, while the Devil Sect Alliance would have 470 points. In this case, the Devil Sect would definitely lose. However, Xiao Chen did not mind. He told Yi Xiaoye that he would look for her when he had time and left the venue. He had to leave quickly. It was not appropriate for him to appear in the public eye for the time being. However, before he could go far, his phone rang. Xiao Chen thought it was the young miss, but it turned out to be Hongzhu. Hongzhu? You're looking for me? Xiaofan picked up the phone and was a little puzzled as to why Hongzhu was calling him again. I have something to do. Can you come to the pharmacy and help me look after it for a while? Hongzhu's voice was very urgent, as if something had happened. Me? Help you look after the pharmacy? Xiaofan was stunned. He was a little puzzled. Can't you just close it? Won't the pharmacy be closed when you come to attend the summit? A few days is a few days. Don't I have something to do? If I close the shop again, Hong Yan will definitely scold me to death when she comes back. My pharmacy is about to close down. I have to reopen it tonight. Besides, I've already put up a notice, Hongzhu said. Damn, then what am I going to do? Help you sell medicine? Xiaofan asked. Yes, anyway, there are prices on it. Just sell it according to the price. Hongzhu said. All right. Xiaofan thought for a moment. Hongzhu had helped him a lot, so now that Hongzhu asked him for help, he really couldn't refuse, so he agreed. Then I'll go to your pharmacy now. Go quickly. I'm also rushing over there. Hongzhu said. All right, see you later. After Xiaofan finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Hongzhu hung up the phone and sensed the aura. There should be no mistake. This person was the candidate his master was looking for. Hongzhu had come to the secular world, to Songning City, not only to help Hong Yan look after the store, but also to shoulder an important task, and that was to find an outstanding candidate for the sect, the Heavenly Fox sect that Hongzhu belonged to, specialized in bewitching techniques. However, whether it was Hongzhu or anyone else, none of them were particularly suited for bewitching techniques. Although bewitching techniques could be cultivated by any woman, if one wanted to cultivate it to perfection and reach a higher realm, one must have a suitable physique. Innate charm was a very rare physique. This kind of charm was a kind of inner charm. It was different from those external charms that were flaunted. It was innate and not an effect that was produced through training and cultivation. Hongzhu's aptitude could only be considered average. Moreover, she did not want to have any great development in this field. She only wanted to learn some skills. Her first task was to manage the Hongyin group of the Hong Chamber of Commerce. This was her goal, and also what she liked to do. Chapter 385. Therefore, she was quite opposed to Li Shanpao's marriage. Once she married Li Shanpao, then Hongyin Group's authority would have to be handed over, because the Hong Chamber of Commerce was not a monolithic entity. After several thousand years of development, Hong Zhong, who was at the helm, already had many descendants. Although Hongzhu's grandfather was the main bloodline, there were also many other relatively close collateral relatives, such as Hongzhu's cousins. Which of these people did not want to replace him? Hongzhu had only two goals now. One was to find a woman with a natural charm and replace her. Although Hongzhu's aptitude was not very good, she was considered one of the best in the Heavenly Fox sect. The Heavenly Fox sect only had a candidate for the position of demon sect saintess every few decades. The Heavenly Fox sect had placed great hopes on Hongzhu, so if she did not find someone who could replace her, it would not be easy for Hongzhu to get away. Although she was an important figure in the Hong Chamber of Commerce, it was the sect that taught her martial arts cultivation. Hongzhu was not an ungrateful person, so she must finish what she started. She was a demonic cultivator who practiced the bewitching bone technique, so she was particularly sensitive to the aura of the bewitching bone technique. However, she could not say that she could tell who was who in the vast sea of people with just a glance, let alone search aimlessly. However, it was not that there was no way. When a woman with a natural charm had the strongest desire in that aspect, she could feel the existence of the other party. In Songning City, there was a woman with a natural charm. This was accidentally sensed by other people in the sect when they were carrying out other tasks in Songning City. However, the aura was coming to an end, and the people in the sect had other things to do, so they missed it. However, the approximate location was near the Little Hong Pharmacy where Hong Zhu was. There might be a slight deviation, because the person had sensed it in action. It was just that Hong Zhu had not sensed anything even though she had been here for a very long time. Thus, in her opinion, the location of the pharmacy was perhaps just a kilometer away from where that naturally bewitching person was. Perhaps, that person had only booked a room in a nearby hotel, or perhaps, there were other reasons. In short, there had been no news for so long, and Hong Zhu was about to give up. However, she did not expect to be discovered today. Although a virgin's body had a miraculous effect on cultivating the charming bones cultivation method, a woman who had lost her virginity had a natural aptitude. It was not that she couldn't cultivate it, but the effect would be slightly worse. However, if there was a man with a compatible physique to cultivate with her, she would receive an incredible effect. Therefore, it was not important whether she was a virgin or not, and Hong Zhu was not in a hurry either. As long as he could find the other party, it would be fine. As for when the other party had that desire, it did not matter whether it was pure desire or doing that kind of thing. However, this kind of aura was continuous. Only when the other party had a desire, Hong Zhu would be able to resonate with it and sense it. Within a radius of 1 kilometer, he would be able to track it. And on her way back to the pharmacy, she sensed this aura, which made Hong Zhu a little anxious. However, she couldn't just ignore the pharmacy. There were some things that she didn't say. Grandpa Chen had called earlier and said that there might be a very important customer coming to buy medicine tonight, so he told Hong Zhu to hurry back as soon as possible. As a result, Hong Zhu was in a bit of a dilemma. She rarely told her family about the matters of the sect, and her family matters could not be delayed. After all, she was the person in charge of the Honging group. After that, she thought of grabbing a strong man and brought Xiao Chen to look after the store, while she went to track that aura. At the entrance of Little Hong's pharmacy, Xiao Chen saw Hong Zhu, who was looking around anxiously while waiting. He could not help but think that this little demon girl ran really fast. She actually arrived much earlier than him. However, thinking about it, she and Song Hua Wu were the judges of the summit, so there would definitely be a special car to pick them up. On the other hand, because he had concealed his identity to go to the summit, he did not drive. Of course, he would not be as fast as her on foot. Hong Zhu, go and do what you need to do. I'll help you look after it, said Xiao Chen. Then I'm leaving. Hong Zhu nodded and did not say anything else. She immediately left with quick steps. After thinking about it, Xiao Chen did not change his appearance. He still appeared at the pharmacy with the appearance of a white fox. If he appeared here with Xiao Chen's appearance, it would be even worse if he was discovered by someone with ulterior motives. However, the white fox was also a demonic cultivator, so it was not a big deal for her to be acquainted with Hong Zhu. Moreover, Hong Zhu had helped him several times during the summit. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that he and Hong Zhu had some sort of relationship. However, it was different for Xiao Chen. Even if Xiao Chen came here to buy medicine, why would he help Hong Zhu look after the store? It was obvious that the two of them had some sort of relationship. It would not be good if someone with ulterior motives became suspicious, especially when they were being investigated by Qiao Ens of the Warrior Guild. After entering the pharmacy, Xiao Chen sat behind the counter, where Hong Zhu usually sat. There were no cultivation resources here, so Xiao Chen could only foolishly sit there and take out his phone to browse through the Warrior Guild's missions. Now that Xiao Chen was not lacking in money, he did not have much interest in the low-level missions of the Warrior Guild. However, he could post mission commissions here and there. Thinking about it, Xiao Chen had never failed to post a mission before. And now, he needed spirit jades. After hesitating for a while, Xiao Chen issued a mission commission in the name of the White Fox. Previously, he had announced to Lu Jinming that Xiao Chen was his little brother, and Xiao Chen had been collecting ancient jades for a while. Now, if the White Fox were to collect ancient jades, there would not be too many suspicions. After all, a little brother collecting ancient jades for the boss was reasonable. Therefore, Xiaofan issued a commission to collect ancient jades. However, he added a lot of restrictive conditions and descriptions. Even so, it was impossible to guarantee that the ancient jades were spirit jades. In this way, they would have to meet and trade. Although it was a little risky, it was worth it when compared to the cultivation rewards. Xiaofan's bounty was not low. 10,000 points for a piece of ancient jade. If converted into cash, it would be 10 million. Although 10 million might be the auction price of some ancient jades in the secular world, 10,000 points was still more attractive to martial artists. After posting, Xiaofan waited for someone to reply. However, after browsing for more than half an hour, no one accepted the mission. Some people even commented that it was very strange. Why would a martial artist want this thing? If they wanted to collect it, go to the antique market. It was purely a waste of points. During this half an hour, Xiaofan sold medicine a few times. However, they were all the commonly used medicine, such as cold medicine, stomach remedy, Wuxia water, and so on. Just when he was feeling bored, the door of the pharmacy was pushed open again. This time, it was a young girl in a dark yellow tang suit. She carried a woman who looked to be in her 40s or 50s. She hurried into the pharmacy and came to Xiaofan. "Welcome. What medicine would you like to buy?" Xiaofan stood up and asked in a professional manner. As for his white fox mask, no one thought there was anything wrong with it. Nowadays, for the sake of commercial sales, many shops would make some strange props and costumes. For example, the receptionists in big panda costumes at the entrance of shopping malls and the clowns at the entrance of restaurants. However, it was a little strange to see such a person in a pharmacy, but not surprising. It was just that the person, the young girl, looked at Xiaofan and felt a little strange. "Why are you here? Are Master Chen or Master Lu here? I contacted them before." "Master Chen? Master Lu? They are busy and not here."
"You can tell me what you want to buy." Xiaofan also looked at the young girl in front of him strangely. She looked very ordinary. In the vast sea of people, one could not even tell her apart at a glance. However, with Xiaofan's sharp divine sense and mental strength, he could sense that she was wearing a mask. It was a high-precision mask similar to a human skin mask. There were no flaws on the surface, and only people like Xiaofan could sense it. Therefore, Xiaofan was secretly vigilant against this young girl who did not show her real face like him. He did not know why she was here. Was the person on her a patient? "With you? Are you a pharmacist?" The young girl seemed a little anxious, but there was a hint of disdain in her words. "My master has a problem with his cultivation. He is possessed by the devil. He must find a pharmacist to treat him as soon as possible. Otherwise, his life will be in danger." In the vicinity, the best medical skills were Apothecary Lu and Apothecary Chen from Little Hong's pharmacy. The young girl felt lucky that they were close to here and could make it in time. If she returned to her sect, she might not be in trouble. However, even though he was a little distrustful of Xiaofan, he sounded too young. At most, he was the disciple of Apothecary Lu or Apothecary Chen. He had no choice but to say it. "Oh, then wait for a while," Xiaofan said faintly. "They are not here." I have an appointment with them. Can you help me contact them? I can't get through to Master Chen's phone, and I don't have Master Lu's number." The young girl was a little anxious, but her tone was not very good. "I don't know either." Xiaofan said faintly, "If you want to find them, just wait. If you want to find me, I will show you. Can you see? Do you know how to read it?" The girl glared angrily at Xiaofan. Xiaofan smiled faintly and did not say anything. This young girl's eyes were very beautiful and full of spirit. She should not be ugly, but he did not know why she was wearing a mask. Seeing that Xiaofan did not speak, the young girl continued, "Only Master Chen or Master Lu can suppress my master's injury. I said, then you just wait for them. Xiao Chen was also a little impatient. You came here to see a doctor, and the doctor is not here. Then you just wait. I will show you, but you still don't want to do it. Who will care about you? If it was not because he wanted to help Hongzhu and did not want to offend the guests, Xiao Chen would have asked them to leave. He had only said so much out of respect for Hongzhu. Otherwise, he wouldn't have bothered wasting his breath on this matter. Tomorrow, there will be a Fishman Book Club at Harbin University of Technology. Fans in Bing City, don't miss it. For details, see Fishman Prestige Urine 22.
Chapter 386. Humph. The young girl snorted coldly. Are you a staff member hired by this pharmacy? Xiao Chen glanced at her and did not answer. He continued to play with his phone. You. The young girl was furious, but she didn't say anything else to Xiao Chen. Instead, she anxiously dialed her phone. However, the other side of the phone kept ringing that she couldn't get through. This made her extremely anxious. After waiting for about 20 minutes, the young girl finally became anxious. She put down the phone and looked at Xiao Chen. Hey, you don't know when they'll be back. I don't know, Xiao Chen said. Then, can you take a look at my master? But are your medical skills good? The young girl hesitated and said. If it's not good, then don't look. Xiao Chen coldly replied. Then, take a look. The young girl had no other choice. It was not a good idea to drag on like this. If she could not suppress her master's qi deviation, it would become more and more serious. Before he could return to the sect, he would die here. Oh, the medical fees are very expensive. Do you have the money to pay? Xiao Chen glanced at the young girl and asked coldly. If the other party's attitude was good to him, he would also be good for Hongzhu's sake. At the very least, he would not struggle with the medical fees. But now, the other party clearly had an arrogant and distrustful expression on her face. Xiao Chen naturally did not have a good tone and immediately asked for medical fees. You. The young girl was about to explode. Why are you so greedy? If you can suppress my master's injuries, I will naturally treat you well. I don't believe you. Prove it first. Do you have the money? Xiao Chen was unmoved. You. Why are you like this? Are you a doctor or not? The young girl was anxious. In fact, she did not bring much money with her. She was a member of the pugilistic world and rarely brought money with her. She rummaged through her pockets and only had a few hundred yuan. Xiao Chen curled his lips and looked at the few hundred yuan on the counter. He coldly snorted. So little. It's not even enough to pay for a visit, let alone treatment. You. I. The young woman stared at Xiao Chen. Then, how much do you want? Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes, looked at the girl in front of him, and said, My house calls usually start from a few million, or you can use other things to pay off the debt. You, lecher. Seeing Xiao Chen's lecherous look, the young girl immediately thought of something. She glared at Xiao Chen and said, I'll tell your master and let him deal with you. Oh, my master died a long time ago, Xiao Chen said. He wasn't lying. His master really was dead. If he had to say that he was alive, then he could only say that the soul of the elder heaven ancestor was still alive. You scoundrel who deceived his master and destroyed his ancestors. The young girl was so angry that she wanted to stomp the person in front of her to death. In the eyes of a martial artist like her, deceiving one's master and destroying one's ancestors was a heinous crime, even more serious than murder and robbery. I said that you don't have enough medical fees, so you can use other things to pay off the debt. You said that I'm a scoundrel who deceived his master and destroyed his ancestors. Are you crazy? Xiao Chen curled his lips and looked at the young girl strangely. Then what do you want to use to pay off the debt? The young girl asked. For example, you. When Xiao Chen said this, he paused for a moment. This was because his eyes swept over the ancient jade on the young girl's neck. There was a faint fluctuation of spiritual energy. He didn't even touch it, but it was already so obvious. This should be a good thing, not inferior to the jade pendant he was wearing before. The young girl's face suddenly became even uglier. She really couldn't understand why her appearance was so ordinary. Why would it attract the attention and desire of the person in front of her? Was there something wrong with this person's heart? Or was he a lecher who was so hungry that he couldn't be choosy? Don't even think about it. The young girl snorted coldly. Then let your master wait for her death. It seems that she won't be able to hold on for long. It seems that she has been possessed by the devil, and her body has produced a lot of devil energy that she can't refine, right? Xiao Chen glanced at the middle-aged woman's situation and guessed that it was about right. This. The young girl turned her head and looked. Sure enough, her master's face was gradually turning black. This was the sign of devil energy getting to her head. If she continued to not control it, her master's life would be in danger. Thinking of this, the young girl became a little anxious. Her master had treated her with great kindness. If something really happened to her master because of her persistence, she would not be able to live with it for the rest of her life. The young girl hesitated for a moment, gritted her teeth and said, "Okay. I'll do whatever you say." "Now? Is it here? Can you help me take a look at my master first? I've promised you, and I won't go back on my word. Let's do it now. Maybe you'll go back on your word later." Xiao Chen smiled slightly and reached out to grab the young girl's chest. The young girl's body trembled slightly, but she stood there. She didn't stop him, nor did she dodge. She let Xiao Chen's hand attack her. However, what surprised her was that Xiao Chen's hand didn't shove into her chest like she had imagined. Instead, it stopped on the jade pendant on her neck. Xiao Chen pulled hard and the jade pendant was in his hand. Then, he retracted his hand and said, "Okay, let me take a look at your master." What are you doing with my jade pendant?" The young girl was a little puzzled. Didn't Xiao Chen want her? "Oh, I'm talking about your jade pendant." But before I could finish, you interrupted me. Then what did you think I wanted? Xiao Chen touched the jade pendant in his hand. He was secretly excited. It really was a spiritual jade. And the spiritual energy fluctuation in it was extremely strong. However, on the surface, he asked calmly. The young girl was taken aback, and a hint of anger flashed across her face. However, although this jade pendant was rather important and was a treasure, it could strengthen one's body if worn for a long time. However, she was a martial artist, so the effect of this thing was relatively small. She just didn't expect that Xiao Chen wanted this thing. Then why didn't he make it clear? Was he happy to let her feel ashamed and insulted? Xiao Chen grabbed the young girl's body and the middle-aged woman's pulse. Then, he circulated the mantra and used his body's primordial qi to guide the disharmonious demonic qi in her body out. This demonic qi was accidentally produced, so it wasn't controlled by the middle-aged woman. There was no need to deliberately guide it. When Xiao Chen circulated his primordial qi, the demonic qi automatically entered his body. This demonic qi wouldn't be too much of a problem in Xiao Chen's body. When he dual cultivated with Yi Xiaoya, he could take advantage of the impact and dissolve it, turning it into the primordial qi in his body. Then, it would have the effect of increasing his cultivation. In Xiao Chen's opinion, it was very worthwhile to use this move in exchange for a piece of spiritual jade. Therefore, Xiao Chen directly absorbed all the disharmonious demonic qi in the middle-aged woman's body. There was not a trace left. This was also considered as a thank you to the master and disciple. Done. Xiao Chen stopped the circulation of the mantra, withdrew his hand, and said to the young girl faintly. Done? You just checked my master's pulse and said it's done? Are you a liar? The young girl saw that Xiaochen didn't do anything, so she said it was done. Wasn't this obvious behavior of a liar? Therefore, she directly questioned Xiaochen. In her opinion, Xiaochen must be a pharmacy attendant who wanted to cheat people. With this thought, the young girl's stage 10 inner force cultivation was immediately revealed, and it almost scared Xiaochen to the point of peeing. What the heck, a top master? Stage 10 inner force. This was the first top martial artist that Xiaochen had seen with his own eyes. How could they have such high strength? What was the background of these two people? If the disciple already had such a cultivation, then wouldn't the master be? However, on the surface, Xiaochen was indifferent and said coldly, "If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Don't show your poor cultivation, ignorant. You." The young girl was so angry that she withdrew the demonic qi on her body and snorted. She was also anxious about her master's situation. As a result, she was suddenly dumbfounded. The black qi on her master's face was gone. Instead, it was replaced by a normal color. Although it was still a little pale, it was obvious that he was fine. The young girl was shocked and quickly checked the condition of her master's body. However, what shocked her was that the disharmonious demonic qi in her master's body caused by qi deviation had all disappeared. Not a single bit. At this moment, the young girl was a little stunned and didn't know what to say. This person in front of her. Who was he? How could he have such superb medical skills? One had to know that even the masters in the sect couldn't do it. Although others could also expel the demonic qi, it would be channeled into other people's bodies. Similarly, the person who the demonic qi entered would suffer qi deviation, so no one dared to do it. They could only first find a pharmacist to control the demonic qi, then restore their sober state. With the help of elixirs, they could slowly refine the disharmonious demonic qi produced by qi deviation. However, this process was extremely long. It could take a year, or it could even take 8 to 10 years. Depending on the degree of qi deviation and the degree of one's own recovery, the time would be different. In short, unless it was a supernatural being whose strength was much higher than her master's, only then would they be able to expel the demonic qi and dispel it easily. Could it be that this person's strength was higher than her master's? And he had said that her cultivation was pitiful. Didn't that mean that she was nothing in his eyes? At this thought, the young girl broke out in a cold sweat. Whether this person in front of her was a lecher or a scoundrel, he had an extremely high cultivation. Otherwise, how could he have dispelled the demonic qi in her master's body? From the looks of it, he didn't seem to be affected at all. In other words, this person's strength had already reached the acme of perfection. Actually, she didn't know that cultivators and warriors had two different cultivation systems. Therefore, even though the demonic qi was in Xiaochen's body, it didn't affect him too much. Because the attributes of vitality and demonic qi were different, they wouldn't clash with each other. Occasionally, some demonic qi would act up and cause Xiaochen some pain. For example, Lin Youxiang's chilly demonic qi. Chapter 387. But overall, Xiaochen didn't have much of an impact. At least, the young girl couldn't tell. My master is fine? The young girl couldn't accept the truth in front of her. It was too shocking. Senior. Thank you, he's cured, but you don't have to thank me. You paid for my treatment. Xiaochen said faintly. No, senior, I know that the spiritual jade is nothing. It's far from enough to exchange for your help. The young girl was telling the truth. If it was an expert who treated her master, this little bit of compensation was far from enough. Therefore, the young girl knew very well that the other party was just an ordinary pharmacist in the secular world. However, he was clearly a senior expert. Did he not have any values? If she behaved with a clear conscience and the senior was unhappy, he wouldn't teach them a lesson. Even if he didn't teach them a lesson, it wouldn't be a good thing to offend him. Moreover, she might need his help in the future. Oh, you can say whatever you want. Xiaochen smiled bitterly. However, he felt that this young girl was pretty good. At least she knew how to be grateful and felt that she owed him. However, the young girl's words caught Xiaochen's attention. Spiritual jade? You know about spiritual jade? Oh. I know. This kind of jade is called spiritual jade. It's not the same as ordinary jade. When worn, it can strengthen the body. However, with senior's strength, this kind of jade is really not very useful. The young girl nodded and explained. Oh, I gave it to my friend. Do you have more? Xiaochen asked. No. This kind of thing is not very useful, but it's rare. The young girl shook her head. Does senior still need it? Yes, if you do, that would be the best, Xiaochen said. Then. I owe senior a favor this time. When I go back, I can help senior collect this kind of spiritual jade. How do I contact senior then? The young girl asked. Come here and give it to the shopkeeper of this pharmacy. Medicine Master Chen or Medicine Master Lu will do. Hong Zhu and Hong Yan will also do, Xiaochen said calmly. Okay, thank you very much, senior. I will take my leave now. I will take my master back to rest. The girl nodded and said. Sure. Xiaochen's calm demeanor made the girl feel that this person was not simple. The girl cupped her fists and left the pharmacy with her master. Hong Zhu stood at the entrance of a villa complex with a slight frown on her face. She had clearly sensed that the bewitching aura had come from nearby, but the moment she arrived here, the bewitching aura had disappeared. Why is it gone? Hong Zhu had already wandered the vicinity for more than an hour. He had originally thought that that aura would appear again, but unfortunately, that aura did not appear. Hong Zhu waited for a long time, but seeing that he had gained nothing, he could only give up and return to the pharmacy. However, she could confirm that the aura should have come from the vicinity of this villa complex. However, what was more difficult to investigate was that there were not only villas in this area, but also foreign houses. The foreign houses were the kind of 6-story, 3-family duplex buildings. Although there were only a few houses in a single building, Hong Zhu couldn't possibly search each house one by one, could she? Returning to the pharmacy, Hong Zhu saw Xiaochen sitting behind the counter, looking just like a waiter. She couldn't help but smile. Hey, you're so responsible. How was it? Did anyone come? Oh, there was. I sold some things and recorded them down, Xiaochen said as he pointed at the account book. I mean, did anyone strange come here? Hong Zhu casually glanced at the account book, then put it aside and asked. Strange people? Oh, yes, there was a woman who came with a 40-year-old woman on her back to buy medicine. She said that her master's cultivation had deviated, Xiaochen said. And then? Where is she? Hong Zhu was startled and hurriedly asked in a somewhat nervous manner. She left, Xiaochen said. Left? She didn't say anything? Hong Zhu was surprised. No. Xiaochen said, all right, I should also go back. Where did you go just now? Why were you gone for so long? It's nothing, I went to look for someone, but I couldn't find her. Hong Zhu was obviously unwilling to talk about it. Xiaochen nodded and didn't ask any more questions. After bidding farewell to Hong Zhu, he left the pharmacy and returned to his villa. Near the villa, Xiaochen restored his original appearance. However, when he entered the villa, neither Cheng Menjing nor Yi Xiaoye were downstairs, allowing Xiaochen to smoothly enter his room. After taking a quick bath and changing his clothes, Xiaochen brewed a pot of medicinal liquid and began to prepare for cultivation. After the medicinal liquid was properly brewed, Xiaochen wore the spirit jade on his body, then quickly took the medicinal liquid and began to cultivate. Xiaochun had just broken through to the 7th layer of refinement stage and had just consolidated his cultivation. He hoped that he could use the spirit jade to go a step further. Of course, Xiaochun didn't think it was possible. After all, the higher one's cultivation was, the slower one's progress would be. Elder Heaven Ancestor, I am now at the 7th layer of refinement stage, is this medicinal liquid still effective? Xiaochun asked. You didn't talk to me, I thought you had forgotten about me. You look pretty awesome today, daring to treat that woman's injury without authorization, and saying that your master is dead? How is your master dead? Elder Heaven Ancestor's dissatisfied voice sounded. I was just excited when I saw the spirit jade. Xiaochun said with a bit of sweat. Do you want to die because you were excited? Don't you know that her level is much higher than yours? Her devil chi entered your body, and if you don't resolve it, your life will be in danger? Elder Heaven Ancestor said seriously. Really? Xiaochun was slightly stunned and shocked, then Why didn't you stop me at that time? But you and Yi Xiaoya can be resolved through dual cultivation, so I didn't stop you. If it was before, I would have definitely stopped you. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, but don't be too reckless next time. Her condition can be resolved with medicinal liquid, but the effect is a bit slow. I can give you the prescription. Forget it, since it has already happened, I will go find Yi Xiaoya for dual cultivation. Xiaochun had an attitude of taking things as they come. Since it had already happened, there was no point in dwelling on it. Oh right, what special ability does a 7th layer of refinement stage have? I didn't have time to ask you before at the summit. The special ability of the 7th layer of refinement stage is still object manipulation, but you can control slightly larger objects. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, this ability is quite useful if you use it well. Object manipulation. Xiaochun couldn't help but be a bit disappointed after hearing this. This ability, except for scaring people in Shen Zhenghao's house, had not been used in any proper place. When it came to real battles, Xiaochun didn't see any big advantages for the time being. It also has its advantages, you can slowly experience it. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, tomorrow, your medicinal ingredients will be prepared according to the current formula. The 8th layer of refinement stage needs to be changed. Okay. Xiaochun nodded. After the exercise, the medicinal efficacy was absorbed by Xiaochun. With the spiritual energy from the spirit jade, Xiaochun's 7th layer of refinement stage was approaching the peak, but there was still a long way to go. After nightfall, Xiaochun quietly changed into the white fox costume, and then tiptoed upstairs, planning to go to Yi Xiaoya's room. However, when he just walked to Yi Xiaoya's room, he heard a click sound from the door not far away. A beautiful figure in pajamas came out. When she saw Xiaochun not far away, she couldn't help but be stunned. She almost exclaimed, but fortunately, she covered her mouth in time. The person who came out was Shen Jingxian. She was a little thirsty after sleeping in the middle of the night, and planned to go downstairs to get a bottle of drink. The drinks in the bedroom were finished, and she didn't think to prepare a bottle before going to bed. Seeing Xiaochun, an uncontrollable anger flashed in Shen Jingxian's eyes. He was actually standing in front of Yi Xiaoya's room, and he was also wearing the white fox costume. What was he going to do? In the middle of the night, he ran to the door of Yi Xiaoya's room. If someone said that there was no problem with him, Shen Jingxian wouldn't believe it. Jingxian. Xiaochun was stunned, and then he couldn't help but smile bitterly. How could there be such a coincidence? When he went upstairs, she came out of the room. Originally, he thought that in the middle of the night, Menjing must be asleep, and Shen Jingxian, perhaps, because tomorrow is Monday, she must have returned to her home, but he didn't expect that she would stay here for the night. Shen Jingxian coldly glanced at Xiaochun, expressionlessly passed by him, and went downstairs. Xiaochun was shocked, and quickly chased after her. He wanted to hold her hand, but Shen Jingxian ruthlessly shook it off. Xiaochen was anxious, and he stopped in front of Shen Jingxian. Jingxian, listen to my explanation. In fact, things are not what you think, get out of the way, or I will call for help. Let Menjing see what you look like now, White Fox hero. Shen Jingxian said coldly. Xiaochen had no choice but to get out of the way. He was really afraid that Shen Jingxian would call for help, and then it would be even more difficult to deal with if it woke up the young Mississippi. Shen Jingxian saw Xiaochen get out of the way, and she walked downstairs, but her steps were a little unsteady, and her whole body fell down head first. Xiaochen was suddenly shocked, and he wanted to pull her up, but it was too late. He stood at the stairs, and Shen Jingxian fell down from the halfway position. How could he catch up? However, in a hurry, Xiaochen jumped directly from the second floor, and quickly fell to the stairs. Bang! Ah! Shen Jingxian exclaimed, and her whole body directly fell on Xiaochen's body, but she wasn't hurt. However, Shen Jingxian was wearing pajamas, and she woke up in the middle of sleep, so she didn't wear anything under the loose pajamas. Xiaochen felt that there were two soft lumps pressing on his back, which made him want to turn back and touch them, but he thought about it and decided not to. Shen Jingxian and he were now in a period of Cold War. If he touched her, it would not be worth it. Chapter 388. When Shen Jingxian saw Xiaochen suddenly appearing under her, she was slightly stunned. She was a little touched, but she didn't intend to forgive Xiaochen so easily. If Xiaochen was an ordinary person, she might forgive him. After all, it took a lot of courage for an ordinary person to jump from the second floor and become a human punching bag for her. However, Xiaochen was not only a warrior, but also a paranormal. He could easily kill a master at the peak of Inner Force Stage 8. It wouldn't be a big problem for him to be punched by her. So, she climbed up from Xiaochen's body. Shen Jingxian snorted and went to get a drink. She didn't care about Xiaochen. Xiaochen stood up and caught up with Shen Jingxian. Jingxian, be careful. What do you want? I'll get it for you. No need. Shen Jingxian opened the cupboard and took out a bottle of yogurt and a bottle of mineral water. Then, she turned around and went upstairs. However, looking at Shen Jingxian's staggering appearance, Xiaochen was afraid that she would fall again. So, he ran over and carried Shen Jingxian, who was a few steps up the stairs. He put her on his neck and carried her upstairs. Shen Jingxian was shocked. She wanted to struggle, but she was afraid that she would lose her balance and fall. She wanted to call for help, but that was just to scare Xiaochen. In fact, she didn't dare to let Cheng Menjing know her relationship with Xiaochen. He felt that there was nothing under Shen Jingxian's nightgown. It seemed that something like hair was rubbing against the back of Xiaochen's neck, which made him a little excited. Shen Jingxian wasn't wearing anything? Shen Jingxian also realized that something was wrong. A strange feeling rose in her heart, and she couldn't help but recall the time when the two of them were on the isolated island. The situation at that time was somewhat similar to this, but she wasn't naked at that time. As Xiaochen walked upstairs, the slight friction made Shen Jingxian's heart beat faster. Although she had only done it with Xiaochen once, this kind of similar feeling made her unable to stop. Once they were upstairs, Xiaochen put Shen Jingxian down. He didn't do anything excessive because he knew that going too far was as bad as not going far enough. Shen Jingxian glared at him, quickly returned to the bedroom, and closed the door. Xiaochen felt a cool sensation at the back of his neck. He touched it with his hand and found a patch of water. Xiaochen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Goddess Shen must still like him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have such a reaction. However, there was still a long way to go for her to forgive him. But overall, Xiaochen was relieved. At least, Goddess Shen didn't hate him. Xiaochen went to the public washroom to wipe it. Otherwise, if Yi Xiaoya saw it, he wouldn't be able to explain it. Moreover, although he didn't think it was a big deal, girls still disliked each other, just like what happened between Jean Bebe and Elder Miss in the car. After doing all this, Xiaochen returned to the door of Yi Xiaoya's room and reached out to open the door. Although the door was locked, it was a piece of cake for Xiaochen. After returning to the room, Shen Jingxian didn't go to sleep immediately. Instead, she stood by the door and watched the situation outside through the peephole. She saw Xiaochen touch the back of his neck and take a look at it, which made her blush instantly. Shen Jingxian didn't expect that she would be so humiliated. She just sat on Xiaochen's body, but she also wanted to see whether Xiaochen would go to see Yi Xiaoya. Her room was diagonally opposite to Yi Xiaoya's, so she could see it directly. After Xiaochen went to the public washroom, he returned to the door of Yi Xiaoya's room, opened the door directly, and entered without even knocking on the door. Shen Jingxian suddenly felt a chill in her heart. Sure enough, there was something wrong. Even she and Cheng Menjing would lock the door at night. How could Yi Xiaoya go to sleep without locking the door? It seemed that she must have left the door open for Xiaochen, so that he could come and go. Thinking of this, Shen Jingxian sighed. I really shouldn't believe him. He was simply deceiving me. Until now, he still said that it wasn't like what I thought. What should I think? Can't he tell the truth to me? Of course, Yi Xiaoya's door was locked. But even if the door was locked, Yi Xiaoya's alertness was still quite high. When Xiaochen came in, Yi Xiaoya woke up, but she didn't make a sound. She just waited for Xiaochen to close the door. Yi Xiaoya suddenly jumped from the bed, and a dark flame palm came at Xiaochen. In Yi Xiaoya's view, the person who opened her locked door in the middle of the night without a sound was definitely not a good person. Xiaochen was also shocked. He didn't expect that Yi Xiaoya didn't even say a word. She just got up and attacked directly. He thought that Yi Xiaoya was asleep. Little Yi, it's me. Xiaochen said in the voice of the white fox. Ah. Yi Xiaoya quickly stopped her palm technique. She was a little surprised. White fox. Why are you here? How did you find this place? You forgot. Xiaochen is my underling. Xiaochen said, then I asked for the address and came over. Oh, then how did you open my door? Yi Xiaoya was a little puzzled. Her door was locked from the inside. She couldn't open it with the key from the outside. The white fox didn't violently destroy it. It seemed that it opened with a simple push. Technical lock picking. Do you want to learn? Xiaochen said, quickly open all kinds of inner and outer mill blade locks, B-class locks, forget it. I don't want to learn it. You can study it yourself. Yi Xiaoya was a little speechless. Why did you come to me in the middle of the night? I thought you were a thief or my enemy. Naturally, it's to find you for dual cultivation. Xiaochen said, don't you want to? I want to, but you and I aren't husband and wife. It's not reasonable to always cultivate like this. You are not allowed to have any bad thoughts. Yi Xiaoya said. My girlfriend lives next door to you. What do you think I can do? Xiaochen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Oh. Yi Xiaoya also remembered that Shen Jingxian was here. She was relieved. Well, wait for me to close the curtains. Then, you and I will take off our clothes so that we won't burn our clothes when we cultivate. However, you have to come in the middle of the night in the future. You can't come during the day when there is light. Okay. Xiaochen said. I still have to go to school during the day. How can I come? Yi Xiaoya closed the curtains. The curtains were the kind of shading cloth. Once it was closed, the room was completely dark. Yi Xiaoya was originally wearing pajamas, so she quickly took it off. Although Xiaochen felt a little weird, he still took off his clothes. Then, he sat face to face with Yi Xiaoya on the bed. Then, the two of them put their palms together. Just like before, they began to circulate the mantra, intertwining the demonic energy and the primordial energy to carry out a mutual cycle. In the darkness, although Xiaochen couldn't see clearly at the beginning, the six senses of a cultivator allowed him to quickly adapt to the situation in the room. He could clearly see Yi Xiaoya's body. This made him feel very excited, but it was also very immoral. Yi Xiaoya trusted him and cultivated with him. If he took the opportunity to peek at Yi Xiaoya, it would be too immoral. However, after Xiaochen took a look, he wanted to take a second look. Xiaochen's breathing was slightly rapid. Yi Xiaoya didn't know what was going on. She was a little puzzled. What's wrong with you? Is it because the mantra is circulating too fast that you can't bear it? That's not it. Next time, let's find a curtain and put it in the middle, said Xiaochen. So what if you can see it? Yi Xiaoya snorted with some disdain. Mom is so annoying. After saying that, she deliberately puffed out her chest, meaning that Xiaochen couldn't see it at all. No. It's just that it feels a little awkward. Xiaochen almost vomited blood. Don't be so nosy. Where should we hang a curtain? Yi Xiaoya glared at Xiaochen and remembered that he couldn't see it. In fact, Xiaochen could see it. Xiaochen could simply close his eyes, take a deep breath, and continue to cultivate with Yi Xiaoya. Otherwise, if he thought too much in his heart, Xiaochen was afraid that he would directly go mad. The demonic energy in his body had not been digested yet. If Xiaochen went mad again, it would bode ill. However, after the dual cultivation, Xiaochen also discovered a problem. The demonic energy in his body this time was very difficult to digest. The demonic energy was very stubborn, and it was not as easy to digest as Leng Youxiang's demonic energy. Now, Xiaochen finally understood what the Elder Heaven Ancestor meant. The demonic energy was really too scary. If he didn't rely on dual cultivation with Yi Xiaoya, he wouldn't be able to digest it at all. After a long time, only God knew what accidents would happen in his body. However, after such a cycle, Xiaochen discovered that although the demonic energy in his body was dissolving very little, it was still being digested. And what surprised Xiaochen the most was that although the amount of the demonic energy was digested very little, once it was converted into his own vitality, it was quite strong. With the help of the spiritual jade pendant, Xiaochen felt that his cultivation speed was 3 to 4 times faster than usual. It seemed like the dual cultivation method that he had discovered with Yi Xiaoya was really beneficial to him. Of course, it wasn't just Xiaochen. Yi Xiaoya was also the same. She had also benefited a lot from dual cultivation. The night passed uneventfully. Early in the morning, a faint light shone into the room. Because the two of them were very focused on dual cultivation, they had forgotten about the time. Xiaochen had his eyes closed, so he didn't notice the changes outside the window. It wasn't until the sound of birds chirping came from outside the window that Yi Xiaoya came back to her senses. She looked forward and saw the naked white fox and his towering pillar. This made Yi Xiaoya a little angry. This guy was up to no good. What was he doing? She was so angry that she stopped her cultivation and kicked Xiaochen. Scram! Xiaochen opened his eyes and was stunned. He realized that the sky was gradually getting brighter. Looking at Yi Xiaoya's angry face, Xiaochen knew that his little Xiaochen had been exposed. But could he blame himself? This kind of cultivation method was really too torturous for Xiaochen. Chapter 389. Yi Xiaoya pulled the quilt and covered herself with it. Then, she said, "You're so ugly. Get lost." All right then. Xiaochen thought to himself. This was a classic case of turning hostile and not acknowledging him. You didn't say this when you were cultivating. Now that you're done cultivating, you want me to leave? Do you think I'm a stud? However, Xiaochen was afraid that Shen Jingxian and the young miss would wake up, so he quickly put on his clothes and left in a flash. Fortunately, the corridor was quiet. Xiaochen didn't dare to delay. He immediately went downstairs and returned to his room. Then, he closed the door, took a hot shower, began to change, and went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiaochen's back as he left. She snorted and thought, this guy seemed to have his eyes closed just now. He can think of unhealthy things with his eyes closed. I'm really impressed. In the morning, Yi Xiaoya, Cheng Menjing, and Shen Jingxian went downstairs to eat together. Only Shen Jingxian yawned as if she didn't sleep well. On the other hand, Cheng Menjing and Yi Xiaoya were in high spirits. Cheng Menjing didn't get up last night, and Shen Jingxian didn't chat with her, so she slept well. As for Yi Xiaoya, she cultivated all night. Although her cultivation didn't improve much, there was still a lot of progress. Her state was naturally excellent. Shen Jingxian glanced at Yi Xiaoya. No matter how she looked at it, it seemed that she was nourished by a man. Otherwise, why would she be so energetic after attending the summit and coming back so tired? Seeing Xiaochen making breakfast in the kitchen, Shen Jingxian walked over without batting an eyelid. She pretended to go to the closet to get a drink. When she passed by him, she said, "You look pretty energetic. You're up early in the morning to cook? Aren't you men tired after doing it?" Cough cough. Xiaochen almost spat his saliva into the pot. "This means I didn't do it, humph." Shen Jingxian glared at him. She had seen him enter Yi Xiaoya's room with her own eyes. How could it be fake? Moreover, Yi Xiaoya's appearance was obviously different from usual. Back at the dining room, Shen Jingxian sat down and waited for breakfast. Cheng Menjing looked at her and said, "Jingxian, why did you go to school this morning? Let's call a taxi." For the past 2 days, she and Cheng Menjing had called a taxi to go to the summit. However, they had to call in advance to make a reservation, which was more troublesome. Otherwise, there would be no taxi waiting for customers in the villa area. Who could afford a villa did not have a private car? "Why don't we set off earlier and let Xiaochen send you there?" Cheng Menjing said. "No, it's not on the way." Shen Jingxian didn't want to see Xiaochen. "By the way, Menjing, I will go back to the Shen family tonight. I won't come here anymore, you won't come?" Cheng Menjing was a little disappointed. These days, Shen Jingxian accompanied her. She thought it was quite interesting. She didn't expect that she would be alone soon. "Well, I have to go home too. It's not very convenient to go to school here," Shen Jingxian said with a smile. "Well, then when you have nothing to do in the future, come and accompany me more often. Otherwise, I will be bored." Cheng Menjing nodded. She knew that what Shen Jingxian said was the truth. If she went to number 1 middle school from here, it was relatively far. Number 2 middle school was relatively close. Yi Xiaoya sat there without saying a word. She ate the food that Xiaochen served. After eating, she went upstairs. After she left, Shen Jingxian whispered to Cheng Menjing, that Yi Xiaoya, "Menjing, you should be careful. She doesn't have good intentions. Don't let her have any thoughts about Xiaochen. You will be the one who suffers." What does that have to do with me?" Cheng Menjing was stunned. She couldn't help but smile. "If Xiaochen is willing, he can go. I don't want to resume the engagement with him. Now I have a reason to refuse." Shen Jingxian shook her head. She felt that Cheng Menjing did not mean what she said. When she really knew the truth, she would not think so. After the meal, Shen Jingxian called a taxi and went to number 1 middle school. Xiaochen drove Cheng Menjing to school in his Land Rover. "Xiaochen," Cheng Menjing said. Xiaochen glanced at Cheng Menjing. "Nothing." Cheng Menjing hesitated and didn't know what to say. "Miss Cheng, what do you want to say?" Xiaochen couldn't help but smile bitterly. "This Wednesday, I heard that Tang Tang and Yu Xiaochuan are engaged. Cheng Menjing thought about it and decided to tell the news to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's hand holding the steering wheel slightly trembled. Although he knew that Yu Xiaochuan's sexual orientation had a problem, he was still a little afraid that Yu Xiaochuan would do something to Tang Tang as usual. Engaged, so soon? Xiao Chen didn't expect that Tang Tang, who was selling breakfast in the morning market not long ago, would get married in a blink of an eye. Did you get the invitation? Xiao Chen asked. No, I just got the news. Jingxian told me to tell you. Cheng Menjing said, it seems that Jingxian also knows that you like Tang Tang. You should stop pestering her. Her boyfriend is White Fox. Be careful, he can kill you with one finger. He. Xiao Chen couldn't help but smile. It seemed that Shen Jingxian was still very concerned about him, but Xiao Chen didn't understand Shen Jingshuan's approach. Logically speaking, she should be jealous of the things between him and Tang Tang, but why did it seem that Shen Jingxian took the initiative to help him? She even told me about the engagement. Was she asking me to prepare in advance? What are you laughing at? Don't think so much. Some things can't be changed. You like her, but you don't have a chance. Jingxian and Tang Tang are the same. You should be honest in the future. Cheng Menjing said to him. Xiao Chen nodded, I will be honest and guard you. Why are you guarding me? Cheng Menjing's face was slightly red. To guard you and be your manservant. Xiao Chen said. Oh. Cheng Menjing nodded and didn't say anything. The car came all the way to the number 1 middle school. Just when it stopped in the parking lot, a person rushed out from the side. Looking at his aggressive look, Xiao Chen thought that he was going to kick his car, but after the guy ran over, he just respectfully opened the door for Xiao Chen. Lu Zhenming? Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. Boss Xiao Chen, good morning. Hello Miss Cheng. Lu Zhenming said eagerly. Cheng Menjing's face was inexplicable. What was Lu Zhenming up to again? He was waiting in the parking lot early in the morning. Could he be plotting something? However, Xiao Chen was slightly stunned and understood why he was here. In fact, the reason was very simple. Yesterday, Xiao Chen said that he was the follower of the White Fox. Naturally, Lu Zhenming came to follow him. Well, I am also the follower of the White Fox. He said hello to me and told me about you. You should behave well in the future and stop pursuing Cheng Menjing. She was my fiancée. If you pursue my boss's woman, how can I live with my face? Xiao Chen said to Lu Zhenming. Ah, of course, of course. Lu Zhenming nodded quickly. In fact, compared to being able to rely on the White Fox, Cheng Menjing was really nothing, so Lu Zhenming agreed directly without any complaints. Okay, you go back first. There is nothing for you to do here. Xiao Chen waved his hand and said. Okay. Lu Zhenming ran to the teaching building. Cheng Menjing looked at Xiao Chen with some confusion. When did the White Fox become your boss? Oh, it was when I called yesterday, said Xiao Chen. Cheng Menjing couldn't help but frown after listening. You have no ambition. You used to pursue Shen Jingxian. Now that Shen Jingxian has become someone else's girlfriend, you recognize that person as your boss. I really don't know what you are thinking. Aren't I looking for a backer for myself? Otherwise, there will be people who want to deal with me all day long. I can't deal with it, said Xiao Chen. Oh. Cheng Menjing didn't say anything more. She just felt a little weird. She and Shen Jingxian were best friends. If she and Xiao Chen resumed their engagement in the future, then Xiao Chen would be Shen Jingshuan's fiancé's underling. This made Cheng Menjing feel inferior. Xiao Chen also felt that Cheng Menjing was unhappy, but there were some things that couldn't be explained for the time being. At least, the fact that the White Fox was him couldn't be exposed for the time being. He thought that he was already standing in a high position in Songning City, but he didn't expect that Xiao Ens would launch an investigation on him because of Li Shaniying's matter. He didn't know if Leng Youxiang's sect would let it go and send people to cause trouble for him. Xiao Chen's guess was right. Leng Youxiang was an outstanding figure in the sect. How could the sect let it go when he was killed during the righteous demonic summit in Songning City? Even if they didn't act rashly on the surface, they had already taken action in secret. On this day, 2 uninvited guests came to the demonic star sect. These 2 people came from Leng Youxiang's sect, the Extreme Ice sect. One was Elder Fong of the Extreme Ice sect, and the other was another outstanding disciple of the Extreme Ice sect, Leng Youxiang's junior. Although he was a junior, his talent and strength weren't any worse than Leng Youxiang's. This person called Chen Yuhan also had the strength of a demonic cultivator at the peak of Stage 8 internal force. However, the sect used to publicize itself as Leng Youxiang, and Chen Yuhan rarely appeared in front of others. However, after Leng Youxiang died, the sect began to nurture Chen Yuhan. Intentionally or unintentionally, they would bring him out to gain experience. In the demonic star sect's guest hall, the person who received the 2 elders of the Extreme Ice sect was the deputy sect leader of the demonic star sect, Qi Xiangmei. She was also Yi Xiaoye's master. My friends from the demonic star sect have come from afar. May I know what's the matter? Qi Xiangmei asked straightforwardly. In fact, she had already vaguely guessed what was going on. After all, Leng Youxiang was killed during the righteous demonic summit. How big of a deal was that? The news spread quickly in the demonic star sect, but what puzzled the demonic star sect the most was that they didn't have a disciple called the White Fox. Qi Xiangmei had already contacted Yi Xiaoye and asked her who the White Fox was. Yi Xiaoye also gave her a guess and answer, which put Qi Xiangmei in a dilemma. Chapter 390. This generation of the Devil Star sect is really full of talents. The 2 disciples who participated in the Righteous Demon Summit are both outstanding. Elder Fong said lightly, he killed a disciple of the Extreme Ice sect. He's not simple. I heard that Leng Youxiang took the initiative to challenge him. Qi Xiangmei said. Anger flashed in Elder Fong's eyes. That's right, this was what he was most helpless about. The person who provoked him was Leng Youxiang. If White Fox had challenged him and Leng Youxiang died, they could blame White Fox for being unreasonable and challenging a friend of the devil sect. But now, Leng Youxiang's challenge had failed. The Extreme Ice sect was not in the right. He was not like Li Shaniying. At least White Fox had taken the initiative to challenge Li Shaniying, but Leng Youxiang had inexplicably challenged a member of the devil sect. Therefore, he could not say anything even if he was killed. Even the devil sect leader of the devil sect alliance would not support the Extreme Ice sect. Elder Fong wanted to find out more about White Fox's status in the Devil Star sect so that he could secretly take revenge in the future. That's true. He was killed because he wasn't skilled enough. But taking a step back, White Fox's attack was actually a bit ruthless. After all, he's from the demonic sect. Don't go overboard when you do things so that we can meet in the future. If he was killed just like that, it really doesn't make sense. What do you mean, Elder Fong? Qi Xiangmei did not answer but asked instead. Deputy sect leader Qi, can you talk to the other disciples of the Devil Star sect that they should show mercy to their friends in the Devil sect when they come out for training and sparring in the future? Don't be so ruthless. Elder Fong said. Sure. Qi Xiangmei nodded. If that was the case, she naturally did not care. As long as the Extreme Ice sect did not request to hand over White Fox, she could agree to it. Good. It seems like Deputy Sect Leader Qi is straightforward. My disciple is a well-known figure in our sect, Chen Yuhan. He has a very good relationship with senior brother Leng Youxiang. Now that Leng Youxiang has been killed, he is very dissatisfied and wants to challenge the expert disciples of the Devil Star sect. Of course, he just wants to vent the dissatisfaction in his heart. Vice Sect Leader Qi, could you arrange this for me? Let's have a competition. Of course, friendship comes first, competition comes second. With both of us watching from the side, there shouldn't be any accidents. Elder Fong slowly revealed the true purpose of his trip. Challenge the Devil Star Sect's expert disciple? Elder Fong must be joking. Our Devil Star Sect is a small sect. How can we have so many outstanding disciples? The outstanding disciples have all gone to participate in the summit and are now outside. Qi Xiangmei said, if you want to challenge them, you have to wait for them to return. That's good too. But don't take too long. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what my disciple can do. Elder Fong said faintly, he originally wanted to look for White Fox. If he looks for Yebiya, then don't blame me. Qi Xiangmei's expression changed slightly. Elder Fong, what do you mean? According to the agreement, all grudges must be settled at the summit. Nothing. Isn't this a competition with your Devil Star Sect's disciple? It's not a grudge, it's just a simple competition. Elder Fong smiled and said, therefore, Vice Sect Leader Qi, please call your outstanding disciples back as soon as possible. Although he was extremely annoyed, the Devil Star Sect was not as big and powerful as the Extreme Ice Sect. Therefore, Vice Sect Leader Qi could only endure it and said faintly, all right, I will call them back as soon as possible to accept the challenge. But let them cultivate well. My disciple, Chen Yuhan, is a devil cultivator at the peak of Stage 9 Inner Force. Elder Fong couldn't help but laugh. Chen Yuhan, when the time comes, you have to show mercy. However, fists and feet have no eyes. If you get killed like your senior brother, then it can only be said that your skills are not good enough. Qi Xiangmei listened to Elder Fong's words. How could she not understand what he was implying? What he meant was very simple. He said that his disciple would be beaten to death because his skills were not good enough, but didn't that mean that the Devil Star Sect's disciples could also be beaten to death? It's better not to kill anyone in a competition. Everyone should restrain themselves, Qi Xiangmei said. If we can restrain ourselves, then Leng Youxiang can't be beaten to death. What do you think, Vice Sect Leader Qi? Isn't that right? Elder Fong said faintly. This. Qi Xiangmei could only groan inwardly. The key problem was that White Fox couldn't be considered a disciple of the Devil Star Sect. However, if junior sister really taught him the Dark Flame Palm, then he could be considered half a disciple of the Devil Star Sect. Qi Xiangmei didn't want him to die. Alright, Yuhan, since there's nothing else, let's leave first. Elder Fong stood up and left with Chen Yuhan. He didn't say anything else and didn't give Qi Xiangmei a chance to bargain. Qi Xiangmei felt a headache as she watched them leave. She quickly headed to the place where the sect leader cultivated. Meanwhile, in the Chen family, Chen Huanling had already discussed it with Chen Wuxian. Chen Wuxian supported him in letting his illegitimate son return to the Chen family. However, now that two of the third-generation members of the Chen family had died, there was no one to carry on the family. Would he be willing to return? Furthermore, with his current status, would he still care about the identity of the young master of the Chen family? After hesitating for a long time, Chen Huanling didn't know if he should call this number. However, in the end, for the sake of the Chen family, he dialed the number he hadn't dialed in a long time. Xiaoling, it's me, Chen Huanling. Chen Huanling didn't call his illegitimate son. Instead, he chose to call his former woman, Yang Xiaoling. Yang Xiaoling was Chen Huanling's university classmate. The two of them got together and lived together for 2 years. They had a son, but Chen Huanling later abandoned Yang Xiaoling for glory and wealth. Yang Xiaoling didn't expect that after so many years, Chen Huanling would call her. All these years, Yang Xiaoling didn't look for another man. In her heart, she still thought about Chen Huanling. However, as time passed, she became more and more disappointed. Especially when she saw that Chen Huanling had already taken the position of vice president of the warrior guild, she felt that she would never cross paths with Chen Huanling again in this lifetime. "You're looking for me. What's the matter?" Yang Xiaoling realized that when Chen Huanling called her, she felt calmer. She didn't know what to say or what to expect. "Xiaoling, I've let you down all these years." Chen Huanling made his voice a little sorrowful. Actually, men and women were different. Especially someone of Chen Huanling's status, he had long forgotten about Yang Xiaoling. If it wasn't for this incident, he might not have thought of her for the rest of his life. "Huanling, I understand. You're a member of a large family. You have no freedom in your marriage." Yang Xiaoling had always loved Chen Huanling in her heart. She understood the style of these large families, so she had no regrets all these years. When Chen Huanling heard Yang Xiaoling's words and saw that there was a way, he immediately rejoiced. "Xiaoling, you also know that for some reason, the third generation of the Chen family passed away. I talked to my father a few times, and he finally agreed to let you and Xiao Ten come back. I will also give you the status of a co-wife, so if you still love me, come back. I will use the rest of my life to make it up to you and your mother." Really? Yang Xiaoling was a little happy. "Really?" Chen Huanling nodded. "Then, let me think about it. I'll ask Xiao Tan again." Although Yang Xiaoling was happy, she was used to being alone all these years. Most importantly, she cared about Chen Huanling, but she also cared about her son. Okay, then I'll wait for your good news," Chen Huanling quickly said. At night, Yang Xiaoling's son, who was also Chen Huanling's illegitimate son, Yang Tan, returned home. Seeing that his mother was very happy, he couldn't help but be a little puzzled. "Mom, what's wrong with you today? Why do you seem so happy?" "Xiao Tan, today your father called me," Yang Xiaoling said. "My father? Don't mention that person." Yang Tan's face suddenly became gloomy. "What did he say to you?" "Xiao Tan, don't be like this. Your father also has his own difficulties. Moreover, he called this time to pick us up and return to the Chen family," Yang Xiaoling said. "Return?" Yang Tan couldn't help but sneer. "His son and nephew are both dead, and now he wants me back. Is it because there's no one left in the third generation of the Chen family, and he wants me back? What kind of bullshit*t is this?" "Xiao Tan, even so, this is Mom's chance. Mom wants to go back." Yang Xiaoling sighed. "This?" Yang Tan's eyes flickered a few times. "To Songning City?" "Yeah, isn't the Chen family always in Songning City?" Yang Xiaoling was slightly taken aback. "How about this, Mom, wait for me to talk to Chen Huanling. I want to see how sincere he is," Yang Tan said after thinking about it. "Call him father. Don't talk nonsense," Yang Xiaoling reminded. "Alright, Mom, you don't have to worry about it. Leave it to me." After Yang Tan finished speaking, he turned around and went to do his own things. He couldn't help but sneer at the corner of his mouth. Right now, he really didn't care much about the position of the young master of the Chen family. However, if he had this title and the opportunity to go to Songning City, it would also be a good choice. Before, he didn't have a good reason to go there. Now, it was different. If he was a member of the Chen family, then it would be logical for him to go to Songning City. Songning No. 2 High School. Xiaochen looked at Song Huawu next to him and felt a little strange. "Didn't you come for this summit? Now that the summit is over and it's considered a success, why don't you go back? Why are you still here studying?" Chapter 391. "There's a new mission from the organization," Song Huawu said. "Why do you care about me?" "I don't care about you. If you want to stay, then stay. Xiao Chen shrugged. Unlike Yi Xiaoye and Hongzhu, there was always some vigilance and estrangement between him and Song Huawu. It might be because they were not familiar with each other. Xiao Chen took out his mobile phone and was about to check the Warrior Guild app to see if anyone had accepted his mission. However, he received an anonymous email on his mobile phone. He didn't know who sent it. Xiao Chen opened it casually. He thought it was an advertisement, but he unexpectedly found a strange sentence: Cheng Zhongfan Cheng Mengxiang Chao Yu Liang. Huh? Xiao Chen looked at the short message in his hand with a strange expression. What did this mean? He frowned and raised his eyebrows slightly. The person who sent the email must know Xiao Chen. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent these 3 names. However, what did this mean? Chao Yuliang had always been targeting him. Did the higher-ups mean that Cheng Mengxiang and Cheng Zhongfan were the masterminds behind the scenes? However, after thinking about it, this matter should be very secretive. He had investigated for so long without any clues, and Chao Yuliang had not exposed any additional information. However, this email clearly revealed the relationship between the 3. Although it was only a hint, it was already very obvious. Xiao Chen couldn't help but fall into deep thought. Who was it that wanted to help him? Or could it be that this email was deliberately sent by someone and not the truth? Shen Zhenghao and Chen Huanling had also received anonymous emails before, hinting at something. However, the hinting might not be the truth. Xiao Chen was now a little suspicious of Cheng Mengxiang. If Cheng Mengxiang was the mastermind, then Cheng Mengxiang's first step would be to kill him and his second step would be to get engaged to Xiao Xiao. In the future, Cheng Mengxiang would be able to annex the Xiao clan because the Xiao clan had no successor. No wonder when he heard the eldest miss said that Cheng Mengxiang and Xiao Xiao were engaged, he had a flash of inspiration and felt that something was wrong. Now he figured out the key point. If Cheng Mengxiang was really the mastermind behind the scenes, then he was the biggest beneficiary of this matter. But then again, Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. What did the Cheng family see in the Xiao family? The Xiao family was not a business family, and their business level was very limited. Their family's wealth was not rich. When the Xiao family died, even if he annexed the Xiao family, there would not be much wealth. On the other hand, the Cheng family had several commercial companies, which made several times more money than the Xiao family. They should not care about the Xiao family at all. The Xiao family's remaining reputation was one of the 9 well-known families. But the Cheng family was originally a well-known family, and it was the head of the well-known families. They would not covet such a reputation, because it was impossible for the Cheng family to divide half of the family to replace the Xiao family and become another well-known family. It was simply an unnecessary move. Therefore, Xiao Chen fell into doubt. With the identity and status of the Cheng family, there was no need to play this kind of conspiracy to annex. It took a lot of effort, and the gain was not proportional to the effort. After exiting the email, Xiao Chen planned to observe for a while. He did not believe it directly, nor did he doubt it. Instead, he wanted to judge with his own eyes. After all, it was much easier to find a target. He just needed to see if they would give the game away. But what made Xiao Chen a little hesitant was whether to talk to the eldest miss or not. After all, it involved the Cheng family. If it was really Cheng Mengxiang and his son who were behind it, then he could only send them to see Chen Jinpeng. Xiao Chen was not used to letting those who were a threat to him live in this world. The Cheng family had not reached the point where he could ignore it. Xiao Chen no longer put a clown like Chao Yuliang in his eyes. If he wanted to kill him, he could do it at any time. He was just afraid that if he touched him, it would alert the people behind him. But now it seemed that if he touched Chao Yuliang, would Cheng Mengxiang take the initiative to jump out? It was necessary to design it well. Hongzhu used to stay in the pharmacy every night, but last night, after discovering the charming Bone's aura, she prepared to temporarily station near the villa to continue sensing this aura. So that morning, Hongzhu found a daily rental apartment in the villa district. She paid for a week's rent and planned to stay there for a week. However, just as Hongzhu finished renting the apartment, she received a call from Medicine Master Chen. "Grandpa Chen, are you looking for me?" Hongzhu asked. "Little Hongzhu, did the 2 customers I mentioned yesterday go to the pharmacy? Why didn't you call me?" Medicine Master Chen was outside with Hong Yan, so he could not rush back to the pharmacy. The young girl who came to the pharmacy yesterday had asked him for help, so he planned to let Hongzhu handle it in the store. When the time came, he could use the remote control to ask Hongzhu to help check on the patient's condition and tell her how to prepare the medicine. However, there was no news until the next morning, which surprised Medicine Master Chen. So, he called Hongzhu to find out what was going on. "Ah, they came, but they left again." Hongzhu was a little embarrassed. "Yesterday, I had something to do, so I didn't go to the pharmacy. I asked a friend to stay there. I heard that the 2 people came and left." "What?" Medicine Master Chen was shocked, and his voice changed.
"Little Hongzhu, you don't know who they are. They came and left because they couldn't find them. If they go back and criticize our Hong Chamber of Commerce, the impact will be huge. It can't be that serious, right?" Hongzhu was stunned. She did not expect the situation to be so serious. Last night, she was not at the store because she had something to do, so she let Xiaofan look after her for a while. How could she have known that the 2 people's departure would have a negative impact on the Hong Chamber of Commerce? Sigh, forget it. This is all we can do now. I hope they don't think that our Hong Chamber of Commerce went back on its word. Medicine Master Chen sighed. There was no point in saying anything else. Hongzhu frowned as she held the phone in her hand. At night, Xiaofan went to Hongzhu's pharmacy to buy medicinal ingredients. The medicinal ingredients from last time had already been used 3 times. They could not be used anymore and had to be replaced with new ones. In the pharmacy, Xiaofan saw a distressed Hongzhu. From what he remembered, this little demon girl always had a charming smile on her face. She had never looked distressed before. "What's wrong, Hongzhu? Did you lose money?" Xiaofan walked in and asked. In any case, the White Fox's identity had already been exposed, and Hongzhu knew about it as well, so he did not need to be as secretive as before. In his opinion, Hongzhu was extremely greedy, and he would only have such an expression when he lost money. "Don't mention it. The 2 guests yesterday were very important. I didn't see Medicine Master Chen or Medicine Master Lu. I was afraid that they would be dissatisfied and spread unfavorable news about the Hong Chamber of Commerce," Hongzhu said. "It's all my fault. I left in a hurry yesterday and didn't explain things to you clearly. Oh, I didn't offend them. Don't worry so much." In Xiao Chen's opinion, he had already cured the girl's master. If she spread any unfavorable news, she would be ungrateful. "Forget it. You won't understand even if I tell you. You're here to buy medicine, right? Did the summit delay your training? That's why you haven't come for so many days?" Hongzhu asked. "Same old thing?" "Yes, same old." Xiaochen nodded. "It took some time. Ling Youxiang's extreme ice sect has begun to inquire about you. If there's nothing important, don't use White Fox's identity to appear again. Right now, both the Li family and extreme ice sect want to cause trouble for you. Be careful," Hongzhu reminded him. "Understood." Xiaochen nodded. Because he wanted to talk to the young miss at night, Xiaochen directly bid farewell to Hongzhu and quickly returned to the villa. On the way home, he passed by a farmer's shop and saw that Yi Xiaoya had just bought some groceries. Xiaochen greeted her. "Yi Xiaoya." It's Xiaochen." Yi Xiaoya saw Xiaochen and nodded to him. "Where did you go? Why didn't you go back with Qing Menjiang?"
Xiao Chen's return alone surprised Yi Xiaoya. Xiao Chen and Qing Menjiang went to school together in the morning, but they came back separately at night. This was not the way to avoid people's eyes and ears. I went to buy some herbs. Xiaochen said. She went back first. Oh, you're still brewing medicine? By the way, if you don't want to keep your formula a secret, I'll take a look at it for you. You can't just eat whatever you want, and you can't cultivate inner strength. Is there something wrong with the formula? Yi Xiaoya asked enthusiastically. No need. The prescription is to strengthen the body. There's nothing special about it. The main thing is cultivation. It can't be rushed. Let's take it slowly. Xiaochen said vaguely. Seeing that Xiaochen was unwilling, Yi Xiaoya didn't say anything more. The two returned to the villa together. Yi Xiaoya went to water her herbs in the flower bed at the entrance of the villa, and Xiaochen took a bag of vegetables and meat to the kitchen to cook. After he finished, Yi Xiaoya also came back. Cheng Menjing just finished taking a shower and went downstairs to eat. Hey, I haven't come down yet. Why did you eat first? You don't have any manners at all. Cheng Menjing glanced at Yi Xiaoya who was eating, and she was a little unhappy. There are only 3 people in the house. Xiaochen cooked a meal, and you eat first. Don't you understand the principle of first come, first served? Yi Xiaoya ignored it and ate by herself. You. Cheng Menjing was a little angry, but when she thought about it, she couldn't win against Yi Xiaoya every time. She could only give up. She picked up the chopsticks angrily and fought with Yi Xiaoya. She said while fighting, Xiaochen, in the future, before I come down, you are not allowed to serve the cooked food. Oh, okay. Xiaochen responded casually. Spineless. Yi Xiaoya was so angry. She thought, this Cheng Menjing will find a sense of existence from Xiaochen. Chapter 392. He likes to be my servant for free for a lifetime. What's wrong? Are you jealous? Cheng Menjing was a little proud. Although she couldn't beat Yi Xiaoya in words, she could command Xiaochen, which was an advantage Yi Xiaoya didn't have. Yi Xiaoya snorted and quickly ate a few mouthfuls. After that, she went upstairs. In fact, Yi Xiaoya made rapid progress after the double cultivation with White Fox yesterday. She had to decoct some potions to consolidate her strength, so she ate faster. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so rude. She didn't even eat Xiaochen, the cook. It was a little inappropriate for her to eat first. But because she was in a hurry today, she didn't pay much attention to it. Who would have thought that she was caught by Cheng Menjing and had a quarrel? Xiaochen, how about we don't take her with us next time? We'll buy our own food after school. Cheng Menjing said while eating. Oh, forget it. She's the only one left in the villa. And didn't we agree before? If we don't take her with us, it's not like that. I'll wait for you to come back and then serve the food. Xiaochen said with a smile. Well, I'm glad you're sensible. You're a qualified servant. Cheng Menjing was happy to have a way out of this embarrassing situation. Menjing, I have something to tell you. Xiaochen suddenly looked serious. He looked at Cheng Menjing with a serious expression and said, but, whether you support it or not, can you keep it a secret for me? Secret? Okay. Cheng Menjing nodded without thinking. You're not telling me that you're going to crash the wedding on Wednesday, are you? Sabotaging Tang Tang's wedding? Puff. Ahem. Xiaochen sprayed a mouthful of water directly on Cheng Menjing's face. Ah. Disgusting. Cheng Menjing stood up subconsciously and glared at Xiaochen. What are you doing? I'm eating. I'm just amused by you. I'm going to crash the wedding. You're so imaginative. If I go there, people will beat me up. Xiaochen smiled bitterly and said, should I wipe it for you? No. Cheng Menjing picked up a napkin and wiped it clean herself, then made it again. After eating a mouthful of rice, she suddenly remembered that Xiao Chen had also spat water into her own bowl, and her face immediately turned green. She actually ate Xiao Chen's saliva. Xiao Chen also looked at Cheng Menjing with a dumbfounded expression. He thought that she was going to change to another bowl of rice. Who would have thought that she would directly eat it? This caused him to immediately not know whether to laugh or cry. However, in his heart, there was a strange feeling, because she was once his fiancée. Whether she was at tsundere or pretended to hate him, Xiao Chen had a deep and special feeling for her. He didn't love Shen Jingxian so deeply, but he had a different kind of affection. After all, Xiao Chen once regarded Cheng Menjing as his. Cheng Menjing hesitated for a moment. Anyway, she had eaten it, so she didn't change it. In fact, Xiao Chen's saliva was not dirty. If she changed it, she was afraid to hurt Xiao Chen's self-esteem. After all, if she was his fiancée, they might kiss. This was nothing at all. Well, I'm sorry. I'll tell you after you finish eating. Xiao Chen didn't expect that the young lady would continue to eat his saliva, which made him somewhat surprised. You can tell me now. Cheng Menjing couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. At this moment, she could only think of one thing that Xiao Chen asked her to keep secret. What I want to say is, about Cheng Mengqiang. Xiao Chen hesitated for a moment, and then he said, I mean, if one day, I stand on the opposite side of him, then you? With him? Cheng Menjing was slightly stunned. You don't want Xiao to marry him? This is one of the reasons. Xiao Chen said, I suspect that the people who targeted me before, in addition to Chao Yuliang, also Cheng Mengqiang. Chao Yuliang was just a chess piece in the foreground. The person behind the scenes is still Cheng Mengqiang. Really? Cheng Menjing was very surprised after listening. She forgot to eat. Her chopsticks were raised in the air. She looked at Xiao Chen and said after a while, You mean, Cheng Mengqiang is the person who targeted you repeatedly? Why did he do this? It was no wonder that Cheng Menjing was shocked. In her impression, Cheng Mengqiang was a little annoying and pretended to be deep. How could he be the behind-the-scenes person who planned to target Xiao Chen? However, after getting along with Xiao Chen for some time, Cheng Menjing knew that he wasn't the kind of person who talked nonsense, so she didn't directly doubt him. Instead, she raised her own doubts. Look at this email. Xiao Chen showed the email in the mobile phone to Cheng Menjing, and then said, Before, when you said that Cheng Mengqiang and Xiao were engaged, I felt that something was wrong for a moment, but there was no evidence to support it at that time, so I didn't think much about it. But now I think about it. If I die, Cheng Mengqiang marries Xiao, and he can naturally inherit the Xiao family. But, Cheng Mengqiang can inherit the Cheng family in the future. The Xiao family is like this now. If he inherits it. Cheng Menjing wasn't stupid. This is also what I have doubts about, so I plan to observe it again. If possible, you can also help me pay attention. Xiao Chen said, Just pay attention to the relationship between Cheng Mengqiang and Chao Yuliang. You want them to expose themselves? Cheng Menjing understood Xiao Chen's meaning. That's what I mean, but you are Cheng Mengqiang's cousin and a member of the Cheng family, so, even if you don't support me, I hope you can keep it a secret for me. Xiao Chen said solemnly. Humph. What kind of person do you think I am? No matter what, I was your fiancé in the past. If he was really targeting you, why would I stand on his side? Cheng Menjing glared at Xiao Chen as if Xiao Chen thought of her as the informant, which made her very unhappy. Thank you. Xiao Chen didn't expect Mrs. reaction to be so big. She seems to be closer to me. It seems that she didn't not care about me as her fiancé at all before. What are you thanking me for? It's what I should do. If you want to know, then next time when I go home, I will specially ask Chao Yuliang to help you check it out. Cheng Menjing said. Then, Will it be too troublesome? Xiao Chen was stunned. He didn't expect Miss to support him so much. It's nothing. I haven't been back to the Cheng family for a long time. As long as I release a little news and hint, Chao Yuliang will probably pay a visit. Or, you can hint to him. Don't you always like to use me to trick him for benefits? Cheng Menjing glanced at Xiao Chen. Well, I didn't use you. Xiao Chen sweated a little. Humph, I haven't even settled the score with you. Who helps others chase their fiancé and still gets benefits from it? You're the only one who's heartless. Cheng Menjing glared at Xiao Chen, then put down the chopsticks and went upstairs. As she walked, she said, next Friday night, I will go back to the Cheng family. Xiao Chen looked at the back of Miss, and his heart was touched. She is actually not worse than Shen Jingxian. Why didn't I pay attention to her before? Thinking about it carefully, in fact, Miss Cheng was really good, but her appearance was cold, not as warm and popular as Shen Jingxian. However, once he interacted with her for a long time, he realized that other than having a little princess syndrome, Missy was still very kind-hearted. As for Goddess Shen, after being with him for a long time, she started to have a little princess syndrome. Xiao Chen was thinking about how to tell the news of Cheng Menjing's return on Friday to see what reaction he would have. If there was really something wrong between him and Cheng Mengxiang, he was afraid that the details would be revealed. As for Tang Tang's marriage, he would be very worried in the past, but now he could sit back and relax. Yu Xiaochuan was not interested in women at all, so Tang Tang was not in danger for the time being. The next step was to see if he could get the Yu family and Tang family to cancel the marriage. For the time being, because of Cheng Mengxiang's accident, Xiao Chen's plan to combine the two identities of White Fox into one was postponed. Originally, Xiao Chen planned to put the identity of White Fox on the table during this period of time, but now he had to postpone it. Originally, Xiao Chen had very few opponents in Songning City. Moreover, the fact that White Fox was not a disciple of the demonic star sect would be exposed sooner or later. After all, he was an impostor. When the time came when people asked the demonic star sect would definitely not hide it for him. Therefore, White Fox's isolated background would gradually be exposed. Without the backing of those big sects, although his influence on the Shen family and the Xia family might be slightly weaker, it did not matter. Because his relationship with Hongzhu had already convinced Shen Zhenghao. As for the Xia family, now that Xiao Chen's strength was equivalent to the peak of stage 8 internal strength, he was not afraid of them at all. Instead, the Xia family had to keep flattering him. However, what Xiao Chen did not expect was that the demonic star sect would actually cover for him. He did not know the reason behind it. But now, the clues pointed to the Cheng family. It was Cheng Mengxiang who wanted to harm him, so Xiao Chen had to be careful. After all, Cheng Mengxiang's grandfather was a martial artist at the peak of stage 9 internal strength. It was unknown if he had made any progress in these years. If Xiao Chen fought against him, the chances of him winning were not particularly high. Back in his room, Xiao Chen began to boil the medicinal liquid. After drinking it, he tiptoed upstairs to find Yi Xiaoye for dual cultivation. "You're here." Yi Xiaoye was lying on the bed playing with her phone. Her bare feet were swinging back and forth. At this moment, she was not much different from those young and beautiful girls. No one knew that she was actually a stage 6 internal strength devil cultivator. She did not look at Xiao Chen and continued to play with her phone. After Xiao Chen closed the door, he said, "You're not asleep yet?" "What time is it?" "Why would I sleep? Normally, I spend the first half of the night cultivating and only sleep after midnight." Yi Xiaoye said, "Oh, by the way, what mission did you issue? Looking for ancient jade? And they even offered such a high bounty? What do you want that for?" "It can help me cultivate to a certain extent, but I need spiritual jade." "Have you heard of spiritual jade?" Xiao Chen asked. Chapter 393. Spiritual Jade? Yi Xiaoye was slightly stunned and said, "No, is it different from ancient jade?" "There's a difference." Xiao Chen was a little disappointed. It seemed that not many people knew about spiritual jade. The two people he met that day knew, but Yi Xiaoye didn't know. "Oh, by the way, my master sent me a letter today. The junior brother of Lin Youxiang, whom you killed, wants to challenge you." Yi Xiaoye said, "My master is stalling him for now, but as time passes, he will probably come to you with the excuse that it's a competition between the younger generation. However, I'm afraid that his real purpose is to take revenge on you." "His junior brother? Then he's definitely not as strong as him, and he still dares to come for revenge?" Xiao Chen was slightly stunned, but he was also very puzzled. "Your master is stalling for time for me? She knows about me?" "Yes, I told her that you are my partner, so she has tacitly accepted your identity as a disciple of the demonic star sect." Yi Xiaoye nodded. "As for his junior brother, who told you that junior brother must be weaker than senior brother? Isn't that usually the case? Those who enter first cultivate first, and those who enter later naturally won't be strong," Xiao Chen said after thinking for a while. "That's normal, but it's not the case for demonic cultivators. Demonic cultivators are different from martial cultivators. Martial cultivators focus on long-term cultivation, but demonic cultivators focus on talent. Those who are talented will cultivate very quickly." Yi Xiaoye said, "Therefore, junior brothers are stronger than senior brothers among demonic cultivators, including martial cultivators." "Oh." Xiao Chen nodded. "Then he's stronger than Lin Youxiang?" "That's right, my master said that the elder of the extreme ice sect said that he's at the peak of the inner force stage 9, but my master feels that he should be at the peak of the inner force stage 8. This person is a little strange," Yi Xiaoye said. "Oh?" Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. Could it be that the elder of the extreme ice sect is bragging? Xiao Chen knew that some people like to exaggerate their strength so that their opponents would feel afraid just by hearing it. In reality, their strength was not that strong. "That shouldn't be possible," Yi Xiaoye said. "But it's possible that something strange is going on. Then I'll be careful, but it should be in time. Even if he's at the peak of inner force level 9, I'm not afraid of him after we dual cultivate for a while. He's just like Lin Youxiang, he's just a one-trick pony." Xiao Chen said. "Keep bragging." Although Yi Xiaoye said that, she could not help but admire White Fox in her heart. This fellow did not take an elevator to level up, it was a rocket. It was simply too fast. When he first met him, his strength was about the same as his. Now, he was already at the peak of stage 8 inner force. How did he cultivate? Just thinking about it made Yi Xiaoye feel pressured. She also had to work hard. Only those with similar strength could be considered partners. If there was too much of a difference in strength, how could they be considered partners? Thinking of this, Yi Xiaoye suddenly shouted, "Turn off the lights. Take off my clothes, I'm going to cultivate." "Pooh." Xiao Chen was stunned. He had already seen Yi Xiaoye eagerly preparing to take off her clothes. He couldn't help but shake his head and turn off the lights in the room. Xiao Chen and Yi Xiaoye were both familiar with the process. After taking off their clothes, they were ready to cultivate palm to palm. Yi Xiaoye felt that Xiao Chen seemed to be wearing a mask. She couldn't help but ask, "Why are you still wearing a mask at this time? Can't you take it off?" "I'm used to it. It's better if you don't see what I look like." Xiao Chen said, "I'm afraid that you will go crazy when you see my true face." "Is it that ugly?" Yi Xiaoye was a little puzzled. He. Xiao Chen said. "If you know that I'm Xiao Chen, can you kill me?" The two of them ran the mantra at the same time. The primordial qi and devil qi intertwined and began to flow in their bodies. After a silent night, the strength of both of them had been improved a lot. Especially Xiao Chen, he felt that he was getting closer and closer to the peak of the 7th level of qi refining stage. But Yi Xiaoya didn't benefit as much as Xiao Chen. After all, she was different from Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen had the spirit jade pendant to absorb energy, and he also refined the devil qi in his body into his own primordial qi. So the speed of his cultivation was naturally faster than that of Yi Xiaoya. The next morning, Xiao Chen left in a hurry before dawn. It was not that he didn't want to look at Yi Xiaoya more, but he didn't dare to. Now, he had the emotional debt of Shen Jingxian to settle, and the matter of Tang Tang to deal with. As for the eldest miss, it was specious, but actually wrong, so Xiao Chen didn't want to provoke others. After breakfast, Xiao Chen and Cheng Menjing went to school together. Xiao Chen planned to contact Chao Yuliang to see if he could leak the news that Cheng Menjing would go home on Friday. Today, as usual, when Xiao Chen came to school, Song Huawu was already there. Xiao Chen was very puzzled about how this girl was so energetic that she came to school so early every day. However, Xiao Chen just nodded to her and didn't bother to talk more. Anyway, Song Huawu was temporarily stationed here. Xiao Chen didn't know what task she had, but it had nothing to do with him. Xiao Chen didn't want to ask about it. His own business was enough of a headache, and he didn't want to poke his nose into other people's business. A class bell rang, and the class teacher, Miss Wang, had already walked into the classroom. Xiao Chen followed everyone, took out his books, and prepared for class. Although his current identity was a martial artist, he was still a student in essence. Moreover, he preferred the school life, and he missed the days when he sat at the same table with Tang Tang. However, to everyone's surprise, Miss Wang didn't walk into the classroom alone today. Beside her, there was a tall, strong, and handsome boy. He had already reached the point of being handsome. Behind this boy, there was another boy, but in contrast, he wasn't so eye-catching. This boy's appearance was ordinary, and his height was very ordinary. He belonged to the very ordinary kind of person. If he was thrown into the vast sea of people, he might not be recognized directly. As soon as the masculine and handsome boy entered the classroom, he attracted everyone's attention. Of course, they were all the jealous eyes of the boys and the admiring eyes of the girls. Damn it, what is this person doing? He is even more handsome than Brother Ming. Is he a transfer student? Skinny Monkey said to Lu Zhenming with some resentment. The number of girls in the class was already not enough, and there was such a strong and handsome boy. Ha, he is not as handsome as Boss Xiao Chen. Don't bother him. If he dares to show off, let Ma Gang kill him. Lu Zhenming said disdainfully. Xiao Chen also looked at the two boys who followed the class teacher in a strange way. Why were there so many transfer students in this class? First, it was him and Cheng Menjing, then it was Song Huawu, and now there were two more. Everyone, pay attention. Today, I will introduce the new students to you. Miss Wang let the strong man and the common-looking man walk to the front of the class podium, and then introduced them to everyone. These two are the new transfer students in our class. They are Yang Tan and Xia Shibin. They are both sports students and transferred from Binjing province. Now, let's invite student Yang and student Xia to introduce themselves to everyone. Please welcome them with a round of applause. A strong and handsome boy like Yang Tan was especially popular with girls. Boys who were good at sports were quite popular in high school, especially a handsome student like Yang Tan. He would definitely be guaranteed a place in college in the future. Usually, when he had nothing to do, he would chase after girls or something. Therefore, some girls who were interested in him became active at this moment and gave Yang Tan's arrival a warm round of applause. Yang Tan smiled slightly and walked to the podium in a very generous manner. Then, he puffed out his chest, and the tight t-shirt outlined his strong and beautiful chest muscles. It immediately attracted a burst of cheers from the students below the stage. Hello, students and teachers. My name is Yang Tan. I come from Binjing province in the south. This time, I came to Songning City to seek refuge with my father. I am transferring to Songning City Second High School to study. I hope everyone can take care of me. Yang Tan seemingly unintentionally tidied up his hair, perfectly showing the muscles on his arms. He said, I am a sports student. I am good at all sports. I hope everyone can communicate with each other. Song Huawu, what's wrong with you? Xiaochen noticed that since Yang Tan appeared, Song Huawu's eyes were tightly fixed on Yang Tan. Don't tell me you have a crush on this kid? How can you fall in love here? What do you mean I have a crush on? Song Huawu glared at Xiaochen and said helplessly, I know him. You know him? Xiaochen was stunned. Could he have chased you here? Who knows? Song Huawu was a little depressed. But that's not his name. Forget it. Don't bother about him. If he doesn't talk to me, I will pretend not to know him. Oh? Why does it seem like you dislike him? Xiaochen smiled and seemed to notice something. Dislike? Not really. I'm just a little surprised that he came here. Song Huawu said faintly. Yang Tan? It seemed that Song Huawu definitely knew this person who framed her. Xiaochen's attention was focused on him. If it weren't for Song Huawu's strange words, Xiaochen might not have felt anything. However, with her words, Xiaochen found out through detailed observation that this Yang Tan seemed to be a martial artist. Although he wasn't 100% sure, it should be close. If he was a martial artist, then why did he transfer from Boundless Province? What was he doing here? As far as Xiaochen knew, Li Shanying was from Binjing Province. Could it be that Yang Tan was related to him? Of course, this Binjing Province could also be fabricated by Yang Tan. It was just a coincidence like Li Shanying. From Yang Tan's face, Xiaochen couldn't tell his age, but he should be slightly older than them. This was a feeling that Xiaochen had. He couldn't tell the specifics. But no matter what, looking at Song Huawu's appearance, this person shouldn't be a good person to get along with. As long as he didn't provoke him, Xiaochen was too lazy to bother with him. Chapter 394. Yang Tan was still introducing himself on the podium. The girls below the podium were all very excited. When they heard Yang Tan say that he was good at basketball, they all applauded. Because the annual number 1 and number 2 middle school league was about to begin. In the past, the number 2 middle school was basically no match for the number 1 middle school in basketball. The students of the number 1 middle school were very good at basketball and had several very tough players. But the number 2 middle school was not so good. Although there were a few students with good stamina, such as Lu Jinming and Ma Gangmen, Lu Jinming was not interested in basketball at all. Ma Gangmen was in the boxing team. He was good at boxing, but he was a complete layman in basketball. Cousin Menjiang, this guy seems to be very good. You are single now. Do you want to consider him? Jean Bebe said with a smile. Cheng Menjiang was considering if she should invite Xiaochen to the tournament this weekend. Her attention was not on the podium at all. Hearing Jean Bebe's words, she was immediately puzzled. Who is he? Consider what? Cousin Menjiang, you must have noticed that there is a new transfer student in our class, right? Jean Bebe looked at Cheng Menjiang, somewhat upset. Why does this girl seem to be so distracted? How can she not notice that there is a new transfer student in her class? Huh? Oh. Cheng Menjiang looked at the podium and then moved her eyes away. She said, who cares? It has nothing to do with me. Cousin Menjiang, you seem to have something on your mind. What's wrong? Jean Bebe asked. Well, let me tell you. There is indeed something on my mind. Cheng Menjiang trusted Jean Bebe more. She could not tell others about it, but she could consult Jean Bebe. Because other people could harm Xiaochen, but Jean Bebe could not. Jean Bebe seemed to be closer to Xiaochen than she was to Xiaochen. "Oh? What's the matter?" Jean Bebe said. "You didn't come to me this weekend. I thought you had forgotten about me. I was with Jingxian this weekend. Here's the thing. Xiaochen suspects." Therefore, Cheng Menjing told her about Xiaochen's suspicion, including the fact that he wanted her to test him on Friday. Jean Bebe thought for a moment and said, "Oh, then let's go together. Bebe will be there too. Anyway, if Chao Yuliang goes, Chen will be there too. He will also remember Chen. He will probably mention Xiaochen to Cheng Mengqiang, so he will be more likely to give himself away. Cheng Mengqiang will. All right. You." Cheng Menjing nodded. "That's good too. When the time comes, accompany Xiaochen more often." After that, Cheng Menjing let out a sigh of relief. At this time, Yang Tan had finished his speech on the podium. The plain-looking man named Xia Shibin, who followed him, introduced himself briefly. "Brother Yang and I are classmates in Binjing province. We came here together this time. Please take care of me." "Yang Tan, Xia Shibin, take a seat in the empty seats at the back of the class. Then the class will begin," said Miss Wang. Yang Tan and Xia Shibin walked off the podium. Yang Tan deliberately walked past Xiaochen and walked to Xiaochen's side. He paused for a second and took a look at Song Huawu, who was expressionless. Then, he nodded to her and walked away quickly. The class passed uneventfully. After the class, Miss Wang left, but Yang Tan and Xia Shibin went to Xiaochen's seat together. "Change seats," Yang Tan knocked on Xiaochen's table and said in a commanding tone. Xiaochen was slightly stunned. Looking at this arrogant transfer student, he recalled what Song Huawu said before. This person came for Song Huawu? However, it didn't matter who he came for. The important thing was that Xiaochen didn't want to change seats. "What do you mean? You want to sit at the same table as her?" asked Xiaochen lightly. "Smart." Yang Tan didn't speak, but Xia Shibin, who was next to Yang Tan, nodded and said, "If you know what's good for you, quickly give up your seat for Brother Yang." "Idiot." Xiaochen glanced at Xia Shibin and ignored him. "You." Xia Shibin reached out and wanted to grab Xiaochen's collar. When he was with Yang Tan, he was always unstoppable. Didn't people respect him no matter where they went? Now, a little middle school student actually dared to challenge him. Did he want to die? Yang Tan waved his hand and gestured for Xia Shibin to calm down. This was a school after all. Moreover, they couldn't simply attack ordinary people. He looked at Xiaochen and said, "Do you know who the person next to you is? Do you know who I am?" Yang Tan, what do you mean? This is a school. Song Huawu didn't expect Yang Jiannan to be so shameless to ask Xiaochen to change seats. This made her a little angry. If Yang Jiannan's position wasn't higher than hers, she would be angry. That's right, this Yang Tan was the leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C, but for some reason, he wasn't called Yang Jiannan, but Yang Tan. School? What's wrong with school? Yang Tan curled his lips and said with disdain, "You said it yourself, I'm called Yang Tan now. My identity is the young master of the Chen family in Songning. How about it, kid, have you heard of the Chen family? One of the 9 families in Songning." Yang Jiannan wasn't stupid. His identity as a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau couldn't simply attack ordinary people, but his other identity, the young master of the Chen family, wasn't a problem. Moreover, he wasn't called Yang Jiannan now, but Yang Tan. In the end, Yang Tan agreed to Yang Xiaoling's proposal to return to the family. However, his purpose and motive for coming here weren't pure. It was only because Song Huawu was here that he had a legitimate excuse to get close to Song Huawu. "I've heard that Chen Jinpeng used to be my underling. It's a pity that he's dead." Don't tell me you're here to replace Chen Jinpeng as my underling? Xiao Chen looked at Yang Tan mockingly and said indifferently. You. Yang Tan's eyes flashed fiercely. He wasn't a magnanimous person. The reason why he could get the position of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Team C leader was because of his strength. Of course, he also had the ability to suck up to others. He didn't have any background, so he could only look for a backer. Although the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was a fair and just organization, there were black sheep everywhere. The current deputy director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was Yang Tan's backer. Xiao Chen, the trash who was kicked out of the Xiao family, has a strong sense of superiority, huh? Yang Tan's underling, Xia Shibin, was checking with his smartphone at the moment. He quickly confirmed Xiao Chen's identity. It seemed that this person's ability wasn't simple. Xiao Chen himself was a little surprised that this person could find out his identity so quickly. Thinking about it, his target was Song Huawu. Could this person also be from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Otherwise, how could he investigate all of his files in such a short time? If you want to sit at the same table with her, tell her herself. You guys can sit at the back. I won't switch seats. Xiao Chen said faintly and ignored them. Yang Tan's mouth flashed a trace of a smile. In his opinion, Xiao Chen's words were equivalent to admitting defeat. Otherwise, why would he let him discuss with Song Huawu? If he didn't want to be separated from Song Huawu, he could totally refuse. There was no need to give him a way out. Of course, what Yang Tan didn't know was that this was the seat that Xiao Chen and Tang Tang used to sit at. Xiao Chen was a nostalgic person. He wouldn't leave this place. Yang Tan naturally wouldn't discuss with Song Huawu. In his opinion, it was the worst plan. If he used his identity as the team leader to order Song Huawu would definitely sit at the back with him. However, that would be a disadvantage. In Song Huawu's eyes, it wouldn't leave a good impression. What he needed to do now was to let Xiao Chen leave. Since Xiao Chen was also from the Songning family, his identity as the Chen family's young master was indeed not very useful. In the school, it was not appropriate for him to take violent measures against Xiao Chen. However, he also had other ways. He was going to pressure Xiao Chen through the school. He didn't believe that Xiao Chen would dare to go against the school. Thinking of this, Yang Tan walked to the school's academic affairs office. Although he had just come out from there not long ago, and it was a bit of a fuss to use his identity to talk about such a trivial matter, he didn't care about it for Song Huawu. Others didn't know Song Huawu's identity. Even Song Huawu herself might not know, but he accidentally heard some secrets once, so he swore to pursue Song Huawu. After knocking on the door, Yang Tan walked into the office and said, "Director Su, I have something that I need your help with." Yang Tan was older than the age to attend school. However, he was assigned by a special department to carry out a mission. Naturally, Director Su unconditionally handled the admission procedures for him. He was the same as Song Huawu, a person with a special identity. "Mr. Yang, if there is anything that you need our help with, just let us know," Director Su said quickly. "This is the case. I want to change seats. Although it's a small matter, the student doesn't agree. I can only ask Director Su for help," Yang Tan said. "Oh? Which student?" When Director Su heard it was this matter, he suddenly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Is this still a matter? This student's name is Xiao Chen." Before Yang Tan finished speaking, Director Su's face changed slightly. "What? Xiao Chen?" Director Su said subconsciously, "Mr. Yang, this student's identity is a bit special. I can help you coordinate it, but, I know. Isn't he the young master who was kicked out of the Xiao family? If he was still in the Xiao family, it wouldn't be easy to handle. But now, Director Su can't do anything?" Yang Tan said, "You should know that this seat is very important to me. I have a mission, okay, I'll talk to him. Director Su had no choice but to nod. Okay, then I'll trouble Director Su. Yang Tan smiled and left Director Su's office with ease. In his opinion, this matter was already set in stone. No matter how powerful Xiao Chen was, could he disobey the school's order? Unless he didn't want to study well. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.